People of YouTube, welcome back. And you're here for a second time for the second episode. So that obviously means that you like the first episode. So thank you so much for checking that out. And if you haven't checked out the first episode and somehow stumbled upon this, I would appreciate if you go back and watch the first episode because it was fantastic. I am honored here today to welcome you back to Wonder Bathos episode 2 with my next guest, Kevster. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Kevy. Kevy is a Twitch streamer. He is one of our dear friends. He has an unparalleled energy that is just super inspiring to be around. And he has one of the most wonderful communities, one of the best Discords I've ever seen. This dude is awesome. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Kevster. What's up, Kev?
Hey, what's up? Yo, thank you for inviting me to the podcast. I'm honored. I'm honored, honestly.
Thank you. I'm honored to have you on here. I'm honored to have you here. So let's begin with a couple of things here. Now, you just murdered the shit out of me and trolled the shit out of me in Portal 2 because we couldn't get Untitled Goose Game to work. How are you feeling after that?
Honestly, I feel refreshed, and I'm gonna be real. I turned the trolling down at the end. I don't know if you noticed or not. But
I did.
I was like, I'm gonna chill out. I turned it down.
I know. So you're like trying to carry me through the levels. You're like, okay, it's fine. Let's get across here and let's open up the button. How many levels do we beat? What, 3 maybe?
We beat all of World 1 and most of 2. We had like 1 level left. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I remember. Like I said, I played with my brother before, and you got the gentle, kind Kevin treatment.
I felt like it was gentle.
My brother was cursing my existence by the time we were done, and then I have a DM somewhere from him saying, "I will never play Portal with you again." Like, yeah, it's fair. I don't blame you.
I can see how he would feel like that, but honestly, I had a good time. It was great.
Oh, it was a blast.
I was just trying to keep up with you with it. I cannot wait to edit that down and get it up onto the other YouTube channel. That is going to be fantastic content. You know what? Yeah. That might be a TikTok thing. Just every time that you trolled me, it'll be a different TikTok because it was so good. That was golden.
Oh, by all means, full permission. If you want to use my face or anything for the stream, full permission. Knock yourself out.
Sweet. You guys heard that. You guys heard it. So if I want to get back at him, I can like Photoshop his face onto like a whole bunch of like really messed up stuff and post that. He gave me permission to do it.
Man, make it as weird as you want, dude. Like, listen, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
If you can dish out the love, you can take it.
Absolutely. That's one thing I've always like felt. Is like if someone disses it and they take it, I have high respect for them. Like they could say the meanest, sickest burn, but then if you return it and they're cool with it, I have respect. Like, listen, man, I can take it. You do whatever you want to do. I will laugh and have a good time.
I could take it. I love it. I love it.
I guess the energy thing must be true because I have 2 co-streamers that will take moments of me screaming or panicking, and then they'll turn it into a soundboard. And every time I enter their stream, they'll play it because they know it annoys me. And
it's so good. Oh man, I love it, dude. Just like the gentle trolling between friends, because it really like kind of strengthens bonds too. We
absolutely,
dude. We troll Trip all the time, and like it's just so much fun because she loves it. You know, it makes I think it makes like our friends feel more included. You know, and like more loved and stuff. Because it's all playful. So
that was how.
Oh, go ahead.
No. That was how things were growing up. We always felt like if we were teasing you or joking, you know, like calling you a nerd, teasing you or whatever, that meant people liked you. And if people weren't teasing you, that meant like they put up with you. It was like, all right,
we tolerate you.
Yeah, it's like, all right, he can leave whenever he wants, you know. It's like, okay, all right.
So as a streamer, we'll move on. Let's gloss over the streamer questions real quick because I feel obligated that I have to do that with every guest because the whole point is that you're here. I want to talk about you a little bit, talk about your stream, and kind of learn a little bit more about Kevy. So how long have you been streaming, Kev?
I've been streaming just over a year now. I started back in November of 2021, so just over a year.
Just over a year. And what if you had to summarize your experience like in just a couple words, like what would you summarize your experience coming back to the platform and like going ham as much as you have on it, because you seem very excited every time you hit the go live button, and even when you're not excited, it's still really funny for chat. Like you rage quitting the other day was,
oh yeah,
I know,
great.
dude, it's so good. So
I was legit too. That was a legit rage quit.
So how's your
Honestly,
experience been?
I would say enjoyable. I mean, all things aside. So, you know, summarizing a few words. For me, a few words is a ton of words. Full disclosure. When I started back in last November, I actually started streaming because I didn't have anything else to do. I had just moved to a new area, and it was before me and my wife. No, we were married, but she was so busy, and I didn't have any friends. So like local friends. So
Right.
I didn't have anything else to do, and I just hit live and I started playing, and then I invited a bunch of people, and I played Mario Maker or I played Switch games. And the reason it's so enjoyable is because once I started getting people talking or hanging out or whatever, I realized that before then, especially because of COVID, I had been severely starved of social interactions. And it was great just to like talk to people, to have people bantering back and forth, spamming Kev Dumb, trolling me, having fun, and I loved it. And it was nice because it beat sitting in my room in the dark because I get seasonal affective disorder. So it beat like sitting in my room in the dark doing nothing all day. So
Right.
honestly, like I've been very, not to sound like use a religious term, but I'm gonna say I've been very fortunate. I almost said blessed. I'll say fortunate. I've been very fortunate with Twitch because I've never been hate rated or anything bad, but it's been like a very positive experience. Even when I'm stressed and exhausted, it's still a positive experience.
Good. I'm
Yeah.
very glad you haven't had to deal with any of that. And like, no, that is one thing I've noticed about your stream is like, even, you know, if it's a slow day or something, you still have people constantly talking in chat. And that is something that I
Mm-hmm.
always struggle with. Like, even if my view
Mm-hmm.
count gets up there and like I'm having a really good day, like I still feel like I only have, you know, a few people that are just like super chatty in chat all the time, you know, and I've
Mm-hmm.
gotten really good at like talking to chat like I'm having a conversation with somebody, but there might not necessarily be a conversation going on. And that's something that
Yeah.
every streamer kind of has to do. But like
Right.
I love you are very good at saying the right things to get whoever is watching to actually talk in chat. I'll be honest,
Oh, absolutely.
there's been a few times where like I'm hanging out in your chat and I'm like, all right, well, like I'm gonna say one more thing and then I'm gonna like, you know, I'm gonna go do whatever and lurk for a little bit. And then like you'll say something and I'm like, son of a bitch, I gotta get back in here and okay, let's talk for another 15 minutes. You know?
Right.
And
Yeah.
that is a
Yeah.
talent. That is a
Yeah.
super talent.
So, I took a lot of communications classes growing up. I've done public speaking before and other stuff. That's one of the things that helped with streaming a lot is I've done public speeches. So, like, I'm used to like, and I've taught before. So, you think streaming's hard? Try teaching a class of a bunch of teenagers who
No,
don't want to be
never.
there.
I will
You gotta,
never do
yeah,
that.
don't want to be there, right? And you find ways to engage people. And actually, I was in Composer's stream, and I gotta give him credit for this because he said something that I absolutely have learned is very true. He said if you ever want like a lot of people to talk, give a very hot food take because it'll pull the lurkers out. Because one thing he said is he said that he hates mayonnaise. Like he hates egg salad, tuna salad, chicken salad, anything that has to do with mayonnaise is garbage and you know, it's like you shouldn't eat it. And I mean, I jumped on my keyboard, mock speed, and I said, "Listen here, you son of a gun, deviled eggs are the best thing ever." And then he
Right.
was like, "Bam, gotcha." And then he laughed about it. I was like, "Damn it!" It was great. And that's something
Dude.
like
Pro
it was golden.
strats.
It was a
Pro
pro strat.
strats.
I mean,
I
you know, because you're not going to offend anyone with food takes. Like you give a political take, you're probably going to piss someone off. I mean, seriously, you give
right.
it's a hot take. You might get an argument, but it's not a good argument. You know, you give a food take, nobody's going to get pissed off like in an offensive way. You're not going to get canceled because you hate pickles, for example, right? But there
That's
might be
so
someone who,
true.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
so true. It's
exactly.
brilliant. Well, I've heard somebody else say something recently. I can't remember who else said it, but somebody recently, I can't remember if I saw it on Twitter or if it was somebody's stream, but somebody said pretty much the same thing. They were just like, "Hey, if you want to get people to engage and interact, like say something wrong, you know, just say something like cuz people cannot resist the urge to correct others, you know? So like if you
Right.
want a social media post to do, like put a typo in there or just like say something wrong, and people will come like flood out to correct you. And like that's just such a crazy strategy to me, you know? And
That's one thing, like,
it's
one thing I've
wonderful.
noticed, because you talk about the conversation, I have noticed that, and this isn't a bragging thing, because I don't get a ton of viewers. You know, if I do someday, fantastic. If I don't, then that's fine.
You will. You
But
keep up consistency, I guarantee you will, because you already have like a really nice base foundation. If you
I
can just
really appreciate it. Thank you.
nail out the same 3 streams every week, same times, I guarantee you will grow and be super successful.
I've been doing a very consistent time, 5 to 10 every day, but Wednesday, and usually I take like Saturday off or something because I want to spend one day with the wife. And she's been an absolute support. And I think that's something too with streamers. A lot of streamers get behind because they might be married to someone who needs extra attention, right? And that's acceptable. If someone needs extra attention, they need extra attention. But Gracie's been like super supportive, and she's like, if you want to stream 5 to 10, as long as we hang out afterwards and you get some chores done around the house for your stream, I don't care. And I'm like, okay, bet. And so I like do dishes, do other stuff, and then boom, I'm on the stream for the rest of the day. But one thing I want to say is I have noticed is even with like 6 viewers, I get more chat interactions than I've seen people with 40 viewers get.
Absolutely.
And I always think like that's wild because the guy has like 40 viewers and no one's talking. And I have like 60 viewers and we're all vibing and like having a party over here. We're having a good time.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I think if you can upscale that though. Like if you look at some of the bigger streamers that have thousands of people in chat or whatever, a lot of them, I mean, they may only have like 10 or 15 people talking at any given time, but since those 15 people are going ham in the chat, it just makes the chat keep on scrolling super fast, and like you see that view count and it seems like a lot bigger than what it actually is. But I also think that a lot of those lurkers are people that have it pulled up on their TV, like in the living room, and like aren't really chatting in chat from their remote control and stuff. And so I kind of, you know, I'm thankful for any viewer interaction I get. I much rather would have a low view count and like people popping off and chat and talking, because that's like my favorite part of streaming, than to have a higher view count of people that like aren't talking. But it is super cool to still know that like you have viewers who are enjoying your content, whether you know there's like conversation going on or not, you know. So that is super nice. Do you have any goals like with streaming that you're trying to hit?
I used to have goals, like ambition. Not
that was the old Kevy. That was the old Kevy.
No, hear me out. Before I started streaming, I thought it was the easiest thing ever. I'm serious. I thought in my mind, all you had to do was sit in front of a camera, okay, play a game, and then boom, viewers. And I used to have a mindset like 100 viewers was a small amount. I did, and I thought to myself, like, if I start streaming, I'm gonna get 100 views in no time. Boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong.
Oh yeah.
Boy, was I wrong. Like I would.
If you have 15, 20 viewers consistent in chat, you're already in like the 1-2% of Twitch.
Yeah, you're the highest percent. And honestly, my goal was to grow for a while, and it still is to an extent. But my goal to grow was like, I'm gonna do this, set this, do this, and and what happened was I actually burned myself out because it was always I got to do this. And I love Mario Maker. I think Mario Maker is a fun experience. I really burned myself out though. Part of it was my fault because I would let any level come into the viewer queue, and some of those levels were like levels that would just stress you out. 4-hour troll level, 4-hour pain level, and everybody's laughing and giggling and having a good time, and it's like, okay, whatever, right? But what happened was I went to the mentality of I've got to do this, and I burned myself out. And so one of my biggest goals has always been I want to play things I want to play. Like I want my mentality when I fire up the stream to be I want to do this. Like, because if my mentality is like I got to do this, why do I have to do this? I stream with like 4 people. Okay, this isn't my job. This isn't my life. This isn't my et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Why am I saying I got to do this? I should be doing things I want to do.
Exactly.
I mean, exactly. And so one of my biggest goals is just to find more games that I want to play, and then also to make content that I've never seen before. One of the biggest things I've noticed, especially for like Final Fantasy, other role-playing games, and Crash Bandicoot, is that a lot of people who make content of it are not very entertaining. And it's no offense to them, because I would love for someone to just put a fresh face on Crash. like take Mario for example. You've got very entertaining, very talented people who are just pounding out Mario videos left and right. Small Ant, Clint Stevens, Point Crow, Grand Pooh Bear, Barber's King, all sorts of impressive people. You go to the Crash Bandicoot category, it's a ghost town. You might have a few people who get 100 viewers who speedrun it every day, but it's not like premium entertainment.
Right.
I think one
exactly.
of my big,
I was gonna say like that's kind of the give and take is like you can either main a game and get super good at it and build like a community based on your skills within that one certain game, you know, or you can do whatever you want and variety stream, but it definitely it slows down the process, but it yields long-term rewards because then you're building a community of people who literally they want to come see you play whatever. It doesn't matter what you're doing, they just want to see you.
They want to be there for you. Yep.
And I've been there, dude. I've done it, man. I put over 2,000 hours into Super Mario Maker, and like anytime I would go live with Mario Maker, there'd be like 25, 30 people waiting, but they were all people who were just like, okay, I'm going to submit my level. Okay, you played my level. Okay, bye. I'll see you next time you play Mario Maker. And like, and it's cool to be able to play viewer levels and do that stuff, but it also really sucks that it's like they just want to see your skill in the game. They're not there for your personality. They're not there for the jokes. And you kind of, isolate yourself to that one thing. I think the biggest help with the Mario Maker stuff is if you are going to do viewer levels, definitely like, I'm going to play this level for like 10 or 15 minutes. And if I don't beat it by then, we're moving on to the next level. I'm not going to subject myself to the same level for like 4 hours. You know what I mean?
I think a big thing I've seen people do too is they only do viewer levels like once a week. And I think one of the problems that was personally happened to me, and everybody's experience is different. I've seen people who do viewer levels all the time, and they get some amazing people who are always coming back, always hanging out with them. That wasn't my experience. My experience was I felt like I was being used all the time because I would have someone come in, watch their level, and then I would have people spam position or spam list or give me these awful levels. And it was just like it was not like an amazing experience. It really wasn't. Yeah, and
we're not going to go down the Mario Maker 2 rabbit hole, but over the last couple of years, there has been a lot of toxicity and stuff in that community, and like we're starting to breach like kind of into that territory a little bit. We won't go down that rabbit hole because we want to keep this fun and uplifted and stuff.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
But
Smart.
there are,
good host.
Yeah. But to end that conversation, do have a lot of friends that are in the Mario Maker community, and there are still a lot of really awesome creators and people in there
levels,
and that do really well by maining that game, and that's awesome for them, you know. But it's like, dude, you want to play God of War Ragnarok sometimes, you know?
Yeah. And like I said, everyone's different. And here's the thing: there's people who want to play the same game every day for 10 hours a day, and that to them, that's a great experience. I'm jealous of those people. I wish I could. I blame my ADHD kind of, but if something just gets boring or turns into a chore, I just check out so fast, and it's like I have to fight to do it. It's painful to do it. I don't know how to describe it.
It could be ADHD, but it also just could be like an adult with like a life outside of streaming and stuff too. You know, like you only have so much time a week where you can play video games. Like you want to play what you want to play. You don't want to get stuck on the same thing. There's so many 60-hour plus games that I want to play that I'm just like, fuck, I don't have time for this. You know, like
well, you got a kid. Yeah, you definitely don't have time to play like you used to.
Yeah. Yeah, you were saying you stream 5 to 10 every night, and I'm like, dude, that's amazing. And I remember doing like 8-hour streams every day, and like I do kind of miss it, but also now I only stream 3 days a week, and I still feel like maybe it could be too much, you know, just because of my other life stuff. But we have it scheduled like really well now. You know, me and Kama both flip-flop days throughout the week. We stream Monday through Friday. We do Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Yeah, I'm so excited about this new schedule. And then the weekends, it's like we don't stream on the weekends. Like if we want to play video games offline together or with friends, totally cool. We do not stream or commit to anything on the weekends, so we can have our family time and we still have that time to decompress from work and stuff. And it's been fantastic. Although I am old as fuck. I tried to sleep in on Saturday. I told myself I was going to sleep till noon and could not do it. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, I remember it was sometime in the weekend. I saw you both were playing Fallout 76, and I was asking Kama how it was, and I was like, by the way, if you need some background noise, I'm playing Mario Kart. And you both
we-
got the background noise, and I rage quit.
Yeah. As soon as I got in, you rage quit.
The best part is she's like, I thought you were joking, and I was like, no. But my mentality is right. If I get really mad, I need to end the stream. And it's not because I'm gonna say an ism. I'm not that kind of person. I'm not that kind of person. I don't support that kind of talk.
What is it with the podcast? You had to bring that up, and then last episode, Kama accidentally called herself a bigot, and I was like, "That's not the right word. What the fuck are you talking about?"
I'm sorry, but I have to like clarify because someone's gonna assume, oh, he turned the stream off because he's gonna start yelling gamer words. No, that's not why. I turned the stream off because I don't want to be angry on camera. Like I don't want to actually be angry on camera and have any regrets.
It's awesome that you're self-aware. I would not have, dude. I've had so many streams where I just sit there so mad and I stew, mostly Mario Maker levels, where I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna beat this, and I'm so angry. Like,
well, some genius decided to do bombs and blue shells as custom items on Maple Tree Way. And after I got hit by the 10th bomb, I was about to take my controller. Okay, I'm sure you can see me on camera. I'm going to use this as a representation.
Yep.
I was about to take my controller, move my mic out of the way, and just spike it against my desk multiple times. And I was like, I got to end the stream. I was like, I got to end the stream. I'm getting angry. Kevin getting angry.
That's not an often feeling, right? Because like I have had that rage before, where like I want to throw my controller, but it's not something that happens very often. It's like maybe
very rare.
Yeah, like once a year, maybe once every couple of years, where something just pisses me off to the point where I'm like, I want to break something. You know, but that's good.
Man,
you're self-aware. You did what you needed to do. You shut it down. You walked away for a minute, and then you came back and started stream back up.
Yeah, that's exactly. I think that's a smart thing to do because, like, here's the thing: you get known as that kind of person, and people are purposely going to try to piss you off because people love to see people rage like that. And I don't want to be a cat. I don't want to be a law. I don't want to be a lolcow. You know, I don't want to do that.
People are gonna do it anyway, man. As a streamer, that's we talked a little bit about that last week too. If you put TTV in your name and join any sort of public lobby, you are a target for literally everybody in the lobby. If you're a streamer playing a game with friends and you're live, you are a target from every one of your friends. Among Us is the worst. Like, one of the reasons I quit playing Among Us for such a long time was because I would get targeted first round, and it was like, cool, we just played 10 matches. I died first round every match, and I'm left just sitting there talking to chat the rest of the game. And like, you don't get to play and experience it because everybody, you know, and your friends or whatever, they don't mean anything mean by it. They're not like, oh, I'm gonna get this, you know. It's just like tee hee, I'm gonna go kill the streamer first. And like, I've seen it happen to friends too, man. Dan, it was like every time we played Among Us, first round, Dan out. Every time I played Among Us, me first round out, dude.
No. And I never thought of it that way. You did. We played Among Us the other day while you were streaming. You did die a lot.
It was fantastic. We did. Yeah. That was really good. The hide and seek stuff is really fun because it's not like you could target, but it's a lot harder to target just because everybody knows what's going on and everybody can talk. It's a whole different dynamic, and it's a lot nicer, I think, than just the regular Among Us. So I really do like the new game modes.
I'm just bummed. So, you know, I was playing Imposter. I killed Kama, and I make an Ozzy Osbourne joke because she's a bat, right? And nobody laughed at it. I was bummed.
I mean, I don't know how many people were there knew who Ozzy Osbourne is. We're old, man. You have to remember
we are old. We are old.
Look at us. I'm hip and cool and young and making a podcast.
I like this. Like, have you ever seen the movie Little Nicky? You ever seen the movie Little Nicky? Whenever like he turns on the brothers in the bat and Ozzy Osbourne just comes out of nowhere and just like takes care of it. Like, dude, it was awesome, man. Like, the guy got live on stage and ate a bat. Like, what an absolute unit. That's like a pop culture sensation.
It was, but now I feel like people don't even know about those Adam Sandler movies anymore. Like, somebody the other day was like, "What's your favorite Adam Sandler movies?" And it was like somebody said Happy Madison, not Happy Gilmore. They said Happy. They said the name of the video production company. It said Happy Madison. Was it the oh god, that is the golf one. But they didn't say the Water Boy. They didn't say Little Nicky.
90s Adam Sandler was fantastic.
It was. And like, good for him for like doing family films and like making a shitload of money now, but it's different. It's not the Adam Sandler that I want to see, but I respect him. I respect him for doing it.
Yeah, nothing wrong with going family friendly. That's one thing I don't do as a streamer. I have the mature tag, but like, I definitely respect people who do. because there's content for everyone.
There really is.
Mm.
I am one of those people because like I've always thought it'd be cool to like write children's books or to like make some sort of like children's series on YouTube or something like that. I would feel bad doing it, man, because I do have like a very adult sense of humor and stuff, and like even though like none of that would be in the children's content, I would still feel bad doing both at the same time. I feel like if you're gonna fucking Mr. Rogers it, you need to be Mr. Rogers. You know what I mean? If you're gonna be Bob Ross, you need to be Bob Ross. Or if you're gonna be Steve from Blue's Clues, you need to be Steve from Blue's Clues. And like I know a lot of celebrities do that shit and kind of double back and forth. You know, but I still think about that. I'm like, oh, cool, this children's program with this dude who was in this like really adult-oriented movie, you know, and I think about stuff like that.
No, I do too. It breaks the immersion. Although there is a special job for someone because I can't tell how many times I've watched a kids movie and I'm giggling, having a good time, and then I go back and watch it as an adult and I realize there's like adult humor sprinkled in secretly.
Yeah.
And I feel like it takes like a lot of talent to do something like that. Like keep the adults entertained too, while the kids are super oblivious.
Well, yeah, it's the visuals. The visuals are there for the kids, and then the jokes are there for the adults. So you're riveting. Yeah, you're hitting both markets at the same time. And also, I get that too. But how much is that going to mess up kids later on when they go back to watch it and they're like, "Holy shit, there was a dick joke in this cartoon dog movie." Like,
it never messed me up. But if you want to get really messed up, watch Toy Story with your eyes closed. As many times he goes, "Whoa, what are you really doing that?" My dad is in the other room, and I was like 15 at the time, and Toy Story is on TV, and my dad's in the other room, and he's just like, "Holy shit!" And I'm like, "Oh, sorry, you gotta censor that out for YouTube." Holy smokes!
No, I've said the F word a lot, man.
Oh, okay.
I'm not censoring anything.
Okay, good. He's like, "Holy shit!" And I'm like, "What?" He's like,
shit.
"Kevin, close your eyes and listen to this movie." And I did, and I'm like, "Bruh, how did they get away with this?" I was like, "Bruh." So many innuendos.
Back then, Pixar didn't answer to Disney, but also it wouldn't have made a difference. Disney's had stuff like that forever. There's a frame in the second Rescuers movie, The Rescuers Down Under, where they're about to get on the bird plane, and as soon as they get on, there's a poster on the wall of a topless lady, and like boobs, nipples, all of it right there.
I remember hearing about that. Yeah, it was like for one frame. One frame.
And like they had to animate that. They had to put that in there, you know. And then like Aladdin, the cover of the VHS box has a dick on it, and like all sorts of like fucked up shit.
I heard that was actually. I heard that because I remember hearing about the dick being on the poles for the Agrabah, right? And I heard that was actually one of the artists was pissed off about something, so they drew a dick there and hit it.
Probably. I mean, they're
Disney
all
found
adults.
out about it and they fixed it. Yeah, Disney found out about that, and like in the later VHSs, it doesn't have it on there.
The Laserdisc, this is a rumor, I don't know if this is true or not, but the Laserdisc version of The Little Mermaid, when she transforms and gets legs for the first time, you can see her lower regions, but it's only on the Laserdisc version, because I guess it's in the matte format or whatever. I don't know if I said that right, like the wide, where it's a little bit taller or whatever.
Oh, okay. I have no idea. I would have to Google that. That'd be kind of interesting.
I know all of this from one of those clickbaity things on Facebook. That's like 10 dirty secrets about Disney or whatever.
I remember those back in the day.
Dude, man, I would get riveted by those. I want to read them.
It was good. But it was also a pain in the nutsack, because it's like, okay, skip the ad. Okay, there we go. We got this. All right, skip the ad. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. I'm on a random website. Okay, get back going.
And then half of them, and you're like, oh, I knew about that. And then you're like, finally, I've one little golden nugget of information I didn't realize.
Right. when I was a little kid, I watched The Little Mermaid for the first time in theaters, and I hid under my chair because the Ursula scene where she starts cackling and like the lightning's going around and everything, scared the crap out of me as a kid. Seriously, like terrified me. I'm hiding under the desk, and my dad's like laughing at me. He's like, or not desk, I was hiding under like the movie theater chair. My dad's like laughing at me. He's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "No, she's scary."
So is that your embarrassed to be scared of movie when you were a kid? Because I got one too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
The one that I was embarrassed to be scared of that scared the shit out of me was Ernest Scared Stupid. It was the Halloween Ernest movie where
Gracie
the
told
trolls.
me that movie scared her too.
Yeah, that movie. Well, the trolls were scary as shit, man. They were just like kidnapping kids and like turning them into like these little toys or whatever. And it just, I don't
That's
know.
the part that scared her. She was afraid she was gonna get turned into a toy as a kid. So she told me. Seriously, she's like, but it was scary. She's like, you don't understand, Kevin. I was a kid.
It was. And then the other one was Jurassic Park, but that movie actually was scary as a kid.
Me too.
People were getting
when
eaten.
the T-Rex tried to eat the Jeep, I was under the bed. I was
Dude,
gone.
the part where Samuel L. Jackson's arm just like falls out of the locker, like his is like I don't want to say decapitated, his disembodied arm just like falls out. I'm just like, I had nightmares over that shit.
Listen, you ever want to have nightmares? Read the Jurassic Park book that the movie was based off. It is way more gruesome.
Really?
Way more gruesome. It literally describes in full detail as the Velociraptor blinds the guy, and then he can feel it like eating his intestines out as he's like slowly dying, and it describes it in like full detail.
That it sounds metal as fuck. I kind of want to read that.
Badass.
I want to read that out loud to chat. I'm gonna read it.
You should. It's pretty badass. I'm gonna be honest. It's gruesome. It's a lot.
It's kind of scary looking into like some of these like the kids YouTubers like that make the videos for kids. Like reading up on some of them too is like kind of sketchy. Yeah. And I'm like, my kid watches like what's one of them? This one is really fucked up. So do you know who Blippi is? You ever seen him? Okay, so Blippi is like this kid's content creator on YouTube, like fucking huge, like millions of subscribers. The dude wears a bow tie and some like big Coke bottle glasses and like a fedora and like a blue button-up shirt. But apparently his claim to fame, he got really famous as a content creator when he was younger for actually pooping into one of his friends' buttholes. He like pooped into another guy's asshole and and that was how he first got big on the internet, and now he makes kids videos and stuff. And it's just like, I don't know how I feel about my kid watching this dude, you know, my 3-year-old kid watches this kid like jump around amusement parks and I'm like,
hang up there. You want to get famous real quick? I just got a brilliant idea.
Oh yeah, okay, we're gonna recreate it. Okay,
I got a brilliant idea, buddy. Like, hey, you want to get famous real quick?
Am I gonna be top or bottom this time?
You're older. You decide. Age before beauty. That's right.
Oh man. Well, if we wait a few more years, I'm gonna need a colonoscopy anyway. So if we can push this off a little bit, I don't think I'd mind being the bottom.
Yeah. Push it off a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. We gotta get cleaned out anyway.
Gosh. No matter what, I got that toilet humor. No matter what, eventually we're gonna joke about pooping. I guess it's a curse.
I told you this podcast is gonna go everywhere. Like our choices.
Fine. I love it.
Our choices now. We could go conspiracy theories. We could talk about aliens. We could talk about literally anything, dude. We can go wherever.
You want to know my conspiracy theory? Okay.
Yeah.
You know how like light from other stars takes billions of years to travel? Okay.
Yes.
What if everything else in the universe except for the Milky Way is already dead, and we're just seeing the light coming from it? And the reason we haven't been visited by aliens yet is because like we're the last pocket of universe before the great heat death.
I don't know about that because they can tell how old the universe is. Like we're the edge of the universe is about 14 billion light years, right? That's how old.
I know they can tell the distance and everything.
Yeah.
But like
we are about 7 billion years into the universe. So I feel like if the universe was dying out, we would see some sort of sign, you know, of at least just the impending darkness coming. You know, I really, I mean, I think so, dude. I really think that
here's the mind blowing thing. Right? We've seen the birth of a star here, but if we actually traveled there, that star is like 4 billion years old.
Yeah.
How crazy is that? And then I have one more conspiracy theory, and then I'll let you do your thing. Because this is one ADHD brain. I gotta get off my mind.
No, we're gonna talk about it. Let's talk about it.
So Uranus and Neptune, I think, have aliens on it, and I'm gonna explain why. We've sent a spacecraft to Saturn, and we have HD pictures of Saturn. We've launched a probe on Saturn's moon. Perfect. Okay. Jupiter's got the same treatment. Pluto's got the same treatment. There are HD pictures of Pluto that we got in 2014. And we found out that there's a heart-shaped part of Pluto. They found out Pluto's not just some random ice ball. It's got a lot of terrain, a lot of different stuff. There has never been a visit to Uranus or Neptune. Okay. but there's been one to Pluto, and they always say, "Well, Uranus is too far away, or Neptune's too far away." But then why do we have one on Pluto? Why did what's it called? Not Voyager. I forget the name of the spacecraft. Why does it have HD pictures of Pluto? What are we hiding? What's hiding on Uranus and Neptune that NASA won't go there? NASA won't take pictures of it. What's hiding on those ice giants? You tell me. You tell me.
I think, I don't know, man. If they were hiding something on either one of those planets, or if they knew that something was there, I don't think they would still just be like, "Oh, look, we got pictures of Pluto, though." You know what I mean? I think there would be
I think they absolutely would. Have you ever seen the movie Men in Black? What Agent J or K tells Agent J is that a person is smart, but people are stupid, and the whole point of like the Men in Black is to keep the people with a veil over their eyes, because if they found out there were aliens, there'd be mass panic, or they found out there was something crazy, there'd be mass panic. Like,
yeah, okay, you say that, but there is an organization right now that's funded by the government and is searching for aliens, and has come out and said, we have like extraterrestrial proof. We have like proof of like, we have all these UFO videos and like from actual military pilots, like firsthand accounts and stuff, and everybody's sleeping on it. Nobody like really cares at all about it.
They sweep it on. They sweep that under the rug. They sweep that under the rug. But all I'm saying is, why do we not have HD pictures of Uranus or Neptune yet? But we do have Pluto.
I hope it's coming. I hope it's coming. I would. My argument.
They don't have any plans for it. They don't have any plans for it. I keep a track on it.
So Jupiter is like mostly gas on the outside, right? But we have pictures of Jupiter.
Yeah. But also they have a satellite orbiting Jupiter, and it orbits it in a I forget the name. It starts with a P. But it's like a long oval above it, then away, then above it, and then away. And they do it for Saturn as well, so they can get like top view, bottom view. It's actually how they found out that the top of Saturn has a hexagon storm. Like, I kid you not. It's a storm in the shape of a perfect hexagon.
Huh. Some of those pictures of the moon,
really cool.
like the moon and of Venus, some of the markings and stuff on the planets themselves do not look random at all. It does not look like some sort of random happenstance. It looks like they were it looks like the inside of a circuit board almost. Like, it looks very detailed. And I think that's super cool, because like I definitely believe in, you know, advanced intelligence. My theory is that like humans peaked like eons ago. Like, there is a human civilization out there that has hit their peak and have like of evolution, and they're just so fucking smart, but for whatever reason they dropped us off here, like, you know, a million years ago, and we've just been here evolving on the planet since then. And my theory behind that is because all of these like Aztec, Mayan temples and all these pyramids all over the world that are built similarly at times when traversing the world would have been damn near impossible. They are all built similarly, and they all have underground rooms that have been shut off that archaeologists like will not go into, and they don't know what they're used for, but they're all super similar. And the markings and stuff on the walls are like very humanoid, you know. And then like you look at the moon. The moon is 400 times smaller than the circumference of the sun, and then 400 times the distance away from the sun, in the perfect position to create like a solar or lunar eclipse. And like just the scale of the universe, there's no way that shit just happens randomly.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've always kind of had a theory that they were super intelligent humans. Think of Atlantis for an example. And I think another example too is like, we have all this crazy modern technology, right? I mean, smartphones, auto-driving cars, and that's just like the beginning. Like, things are getting better. PlayStation, monitors. I mean, you have, for example, this is my phone right here. This little doohickey in my pocket is stronger than the computer that sent the first spaceship or Apollo mission to the moon, right?
Right.
All it takes is one EMP away from the sun to wipe it all out. And this stuff would degrade. Like 1,000 years from now, all this technology would be gone. It would degrade.
Yep.
Like, what if there was a time in the past where people had super powered technology, you know? Like, what if there was a time in the past where people had like something similar to a smartphone or similar to microchips or other stuff like that?
They did find some electronic device recently that like predates, I can't remember what they said but it was like thousands of years ago, and it was an actual electronic device. So like either time travel or yeah, at some point they did have some sort of technology, you know, that's just kind
I
of eroded over time.
maybe I still think time machine's the better option. Like, listen,
Are we
you
back
get a
on this?
spaceship.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Okay, listen, you get a spaceship, right? You fly it out to space once. It only goes a small distance because it never specified what kind of spaceship it is. And like even just to go from Earth to like Mars is years. To go from Earth to Jupiter is like 6, 7, 8 years, and that's traveling at a really fast speed. Okay, you want to go to the edge of this. You want to go to the edge of the solar system, not the Milky Way, just the solar system. That's like 20 years. 20 years gone.
It's longer than that. The distance
Yeah.
between us and the sun, you could not make it in a human's lifetime. We could send a baby on a rocket to the sun right now. It would not make it before it died of old age.
Mm-hmm. No, I think if you go towards the sun, it goes faster. I'm not certain. I don't remember because they can hit certain speeds. Of course, they also launch stuff like without humans in it way faster. But
Yeah.
think about it this way: you go in the future, whenever people have learned to go faster than light, when they've learned wormholes and learned all that other stuff, and then you get to explore the whole universe flawlessly. Would you rather try to travel through America before highways were invented and cars were invented, or would you rather try to go after it's all done and you can just cruise right through it? I mean, come on.
I agree with you, but also with you have a spaceship and you can go travel and traverse space. I assumed that would come with like some special liberties. Like one, you would have a way to refill and power the ship infinitely. You know what I mean? Like in current time, you'd have a way to harvest food or like whatever, a spaceship that's big enough to have a garden in it or whatever. It would be able to sustain life indefinitely. Was my idea, because I mean, like, come on, compared to time travel, it's like an easy
you
answer.
You can go back in time, you can confirm or deny certain events. You can go back to like the beginning of time, you can go to the end of time. Like, it'd be really cool. I think both options would be really cool.
Both options would be really cool, but like the time travel thing, I imagine, or like, I don't know, if you were to go forward for like better space travel stuff, we'd end up in some sort of like Fifth Element type scenario where like all the alien races are like totally cool with each other and like everybody kind of congregates or whatever, but then like it's just kind of boring too.
Or all joking aside, could go in the future and 50 years from now humanity's all dead because of like some cataclysmic event or some war or something else, and then like you don't get anything out of it, and I could be like, darn, I should have got the spaceship. Although
the threat of a
machine.
Go
ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say that you're absolutely right. Like the threat of an EMP, a solar storm could pass by like 11 million light years from here, and it could still destroy all human life as we know it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing, right? I think it takes light 8 minutes to get to the Earth. I think it takes the sun like 8 minutes to get to the Earth. Light, the speed of light's super fast. Sun, so like the sun could implode, and we would have 10 minutes left before we knew it.
Oh yeah.
But another thing too is like, for example, there are constant times like near miss scenarios with solar flares, and I'm telling you, all it takes is one major EMP, not enough to like kill mankind, not like a knowing scenario, but like we could easily have all our technology wiped out like that quick. And I find it hard to believe that mankind is peaking technologically after like 40,000 years. I find that hard to believe. I mean, now there is like a lot of study with the microchip that's really like gone nuts. But I still wonder sometimes if there was like ancient technology, because I mean they knew how to use electricity, like they knew how to use a water wheel to conduct electricity, and they knew how to like channel other stuff as well.
Yeah, I mean, was it Rome and Greece had like plumbing and stuff, like they were like so many, and then a bunch of these civilizations that just like up and disappear, they just wiped off the face of the planet, overnight, and that shit's crazy.
Oh yeah.
It is nuts, and like something that's gonna blow your mind. They did a study recently, and they said if you took somebody from like the 1600s and you move them to the 1800s, you bump them up, like traveled them 200 years in the future, they would be able to adapt to life almost immediately. They would be able to adapt to like the life and like the technological advancements and stuff like that almost immediately. But if you took somebody from the 70s, like if we went back in time and grabbed somebody from the 70s and brought them to today, their brains would fucking explode. They would not be able to handle the amount of technology and all the changes and stuff. which is crazy because there are people that were around in the 70s that are still here today, like all over the place. And like having that natural time to evolve with the technology is like super important.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of people who haven't like got with the times. I can't tell how many times like someone older would have to have someone help them with like IT or whatever, just because like they can't keep up with it.
Are you calling me out, Kevy? Because I feel like you're calling me out.
Right? Not yet. 10 years from now, when you're asking your son, how do I do this doohickey with the thingamajig? And what do you mean? What? Back in my day, we didn't have no virtual reality. I don't know what you're talking about, son. Then I'll call you out, right?
How do I load Fortnite onto the microwave? Like,
yeah, right. How do I load this virtual game onto the virtual chip, son? Oh, Dad, it's super simple. I can't believe you don't have no idea. You literally just think this way, move your eyebrow that way, and it's downloaded. Like, come on, what are you, a grandpa or something?
Right. I think, dude, I think stuff like that all the time, man. Like 10 years from now, where's technology going to be? Like, what are video games going to be like? Because I feel like we're almost at a stopping point, you know?
We've got to be close to a plateau or a peak or something. Because, like, we can only do so many more modern Marvels before things get crazy. Although I did see a really cool conspiracy theory. And to start to describe it, there was this guy who put a hat, like a little cowboy hat on a crab, and was feeding it food and laughing at the crab for being so stupid. And someone commented and said, someday AI will be so advanced that humans will be the crab and the AI will be like making fun of us for being stupid. Yeah. And that comment like lives in my head rent free. It really does.
This is really going to mess you up then. They took a quantum computer. I can't remember which one. They took a quantum computer and they asked it, like, what do you think that, you know, robots and AI are going to take over the human race someday? And like the machine got super quiet for a second and said probably. So like that lives rent free in my head. I can't remember if it said probably, but it said something along those lines. It may have said possibly, but it said like it is definitely possible. And so you think about all these androids and lifelike robots and stuff that are like, and AI, how advanced AI is getting. There's one line of code that keeps anything AI from attacking humans, you know? And all it takes is one of those AI to turn around and rewrite its own code and be like, oh, okay, so human beings are the worst thing that's happened to the planet. Let's fucking kill them all, you know? And
it has been uncanny how many times I've watched a sci-fi movie and been like, dang, that's cool, but that would never happen. And then like 5 years later it happens. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, Terminator. Yeah. Like the 80s, Matrix. They were calling this shit.
Right. Like, I don't know. The thing that scares me more is the Matrix, because here's the thing, right? Like, and whenever the brothers made the Matrix, they realized people were too stupid to realize why the robots actually contained people in the pods. And so they wrote that it was for battery power, and everybody's like, well, then why didn't you just cut the optic nerve in the back? Actually, they kept the human because they used their brains for processing power. They used their brains to help with the processing power, right? And that is so wild, like, to think that there may be a time where humans lose a war against robots, and then robots, like, enslave us. And not in, like, a manual labor way, because how are we going to outwork a robot, right? Like, we have to sleep, we're tired, but, like taking advantage of our minds as more processing power. Because even I know that, like, computers can do math way faster than us because they're programmed to do it. Right. But the human brain still has a lot of advantages to your everyday computing like processor. It really does. The brain can compute things instantaneously.
Well, I mean, people can make decisions, you know, a lot faster. A computer has to sit there and think about it and run through all the steps and figure out you know, what's the absolute best scenario, you know, where humans can use their hearts to feel out a situation and like get through something.
And another prime example is even talking about subconscious things our brains do every day. You never have to think to breathe, but every day your brain fires thousands of synapses in the right pattern and the right programming way to make sure our lungs are constantly working, to make sure our heart's constantly pumping blood. Like, this is processing power in the Matrix that the machines took advantage of. They needed the humans to do all that extra computation so they could do crazy things. And then the craziest thing about the Matrix, I don't know if you ever watched the Animatrix or not. If you haven't, it's pretty solid.
Yeah, I worked at a place called Movie Gallery. It was like a smaller version of Blockbuster when that came out. Man, I was so excited.
It was good. It answered a lot of the questions too. And like the most like crazy part about that is when they're like, by the way, we actually made it super perfect for people, but it was too perfect and they kept waking up because they didn't believe it. I'm like, damn.
That's my
Like,
one
dang.
argument. That's my one argument against the simulation. Okay, we're gonna veer for just a second, and I'm gonna wrap it
Okay.
back around. So like
Oh, go right ahead.
cults,
Right.
any sort of cult, they keep the people within the cult. They keep them tired, so they keep them up. They try not to let them sleep too much. They keep them working and constantly like tired and bogged down because it makes their brains more malleable and like easy to control. And so. That I kind of understand why if we were living in some sort of simulation, like things have to be kind of shitty because it makes them easier to control. My thought process is though, like anybody that I've ever met and myself included, if we were in a simulation, what is the benefit to not like why would you not give everybody everything they want? Like if I had a chance to live in like a simulated world where like I didn't have to go to work and I could just hang out with my family all day and like do everything I want to do, like I think I'd be more willing to accept that and to live with that rather than live like a fucking like just going through the grind all the time, you know, and being bogged down and tired and shit all the time. Like if everybody had like a nice existence, wouldn't you be more like willing to help, you know? So like what would the point, especially when it doesn't cost them any extra resources, you know, making the simulation nice isn't going to cost them any extra resources because it's just lines of code that make up the world around us.
I think my problem with that mentality, I think it's a good point, but whenever people have it good, they get bored. For example, you want to know people who commit most petty thefts or small crimes or anything else? Did you know that most people who like petty theft or small misdemeanor or something else are actually people who have it pretty good? And a lot of times they commit those crimes because they have it too good. They're bored all the time. And I feel like when people get bored, like, here's the thing. This is a counterpoint, and I don't mean this in any way because I still have it great. I really do. I'm very fortunate. I could have it way worse. But whenever there's a struggle set before me, and I overcome it, I always feel like it was a very impactful day. Whereas if it's an easygoing day, everything goes right for constantly, I feel like it can become very boring for people because everyone works different. And there's some people who, like, for example, the way their brains work is like they need those easy days, they need those good days. And then I feel like there's other people who need that challenge all the time. Like keep them engaged. And
I mean,
I'm not saying poverty is a challenge, right? I'm not saying because well, I mean it is a challenge, but it's not like a good challenge, right? But I feel like when people get bored, it can be problematic. But I could be wrong. I don't know.
Well, okay, so my question to that is, like you don't think that if you didn't have to worry about going to work, right? You didn't have to work 40 hours a week or however many hours. If you didn't have to do that, like you don't think that you would have something worth value to invest that extra time in and energy and resources?
Oh, absolutely.
They did a study. I never saw the completed study, but it was like Elon Musk and Bill Gates and like a couple other billionaires took a town in Sweden, and they were curious if they took an entire town and like paid their wages for an entire year, what they would do, right? Would they invest that time and money into something that could, you know, help the world, or would they just like go to the bar and waste it, you know? And so like they took everybody in this town and they were like, all right, you don't go to work anymore for the next year. You don't go to work. We're going to pay you like $3,000 a month or however much it was. And nice. you just do whatever you want with it, you know? And like, maybe they're still formulating data on it, or maybe they have released the data. I need to go look it up. But I thought that was super interesting because what happens when money becomes obsolete, right? Like the economy's fucking tanking. All these billion-dollar corporations have all of the money, you know. So what's their drive to keep making money, you know? And like at some point, something has to break and something has to get fixed. And so like, what happens when we do reach some level of, you know, like what do you have to give society if everything goes automated, right? And the only jobs available are like software engineers or like maintenance technicians, you know, all these jobs just to fix the machines. You know, like there's going to have to be like some sort of better way to do currency and stuff, you know, or like we get to a point where it's like we're not trying to divide social classes anymore. You know, not
Right.
nobody's trying to get the bigger house, you know, or the bigger
Right.
TV or
Keeping up
anything.
with the Joneses, yeah.
Yeah, we just have the stuff that we need. You know, everybody's got like a holographic wristwatch, you know, like Cyberpunk, you know, and everybody's got TVs built into their walls and stuff, and it just kind of comes with the places you live. You know, like there's gonna come a time where like that shit, the money shit's not gonna matter anymore, and we're gonna have to do something else. And so like the only logical course is going to be to try to do something better for mankind, to actually evolve and do something better, a unified front with everybody.
I would hope so. I would hope so. And I think it's very optimistic. I think the problem is, though, like I said before, mankind is a terrifying thing when they get bored. I mean, I've seen it is. It's a terrifying thing. And the problem is, and I'm not saying we should work for the rest of our lives till we're dead. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not. You know, I think like full automation would be really great, but I think that people would have to work more in entertainment. I'm gonna give a good example. In 2020, when a certain pandemic happened, and a lot of shows were being canceled, a lot of movies were being pushed back, things got pretty bad. A lot of people got depressed. A lot of people got very upset. A lot of people got mad. And I'm not trying to talk about any political events. That exemption, that was completely different. That's not what I'm talking about. But notice how many people got depressed during the pandemic. They couldn't go out and talk to people. They couldn't go out and do anything. They were collecting unemployment, and they were sitting in their house all day. And a lot of people actually picked up streaming because of this, because they had nothing else to do. And I think like in a lot of ways, not for everyone, but I think for some people that job gives them purpose. And I think like at the end of the day, a big part of finding happiness or finding goals is finding that purpose. And I think like once again, people who don't find that purpose and fall into that boredom or fall into that apathy, nihilism, or other things, other negative emotions that can come along with feeling purposeless, tend to lead to other things. And I feel like a fully automated like society would be great, but someone would still have the better robot, or someone would still have like the better factory, or someone would still have like the nice mansion while everyone else lived in cramped apartments. You know, like
right.
There's always going to be a billionaire.
I agree.
In society.
Yeah. There's always gonna be like, dude,
yeah.
that social class thing. It is always going to be there. You know, unless like. I think there would be.
Take Fairly Odd Parents, for example. They did a really good idea of this, where Timmy Turner wished for everyone to be the same, and so that everyone became gray blobs in a gray blob world. And the first thing a blob said to someone is, "Well, my blob ends are fancier, or I'm grayer, so I'm a better blob." And like, I really liked that episode, and I think it does a really good psychological deep dive into humankind, because we're always competing. Like, take for example, gaming in general. Back when we were kids, Opto, were we constantly like trying to compete and be the best gamer? I mean, maybe we had siblings we were trying to beat them, right?
Right.
But there were a lot of single player games. Nobody was trying to race each other. People were just having fun. Look at gaming today. It's hyper competitive.
You know what? It's funny you said that, because you know what really changed me forever in the gaming world is when they finally started doing like the achievements. I think it was like PlayStation 3 or something, where you could get trophies for doing stuff. And then like that was my main goal. Every game I played, I got to get this platinum trophy. I got to 100% complete it and get all the achievements for nothing. For literally nothing. Like you're not sharing it on the internet, you know, you're not sharing your achievements with your friends. It's literally just a personal thing. Like, I have to do this for me.
And like and then the crazy thing is we have esports teams now. We have actual colleges that support college students to go compete, which I think is awesome. Like, I would if the esports were a thing when I was in college, I wouldn't have been in marching band. I would have been playing video games trying to get a scholarship. You kidding me? That'd been awesome, right? But like, before it was esports, it was just sports. Before it was sports, it was war. Before it was war, it was the Grecian gladiator ring where people fought. Like, the thing is, mankind has always had that competitive drive. We always have. I don't know why we have it. Maybe it's evolving from our animalistic urges, because animals compete for territory.
Purpose. It's all to give people purpose and to make people feel special and to make money and stuff. If we literally if we just walked around every day like, oh yeah, you know, in the scale of the universe, we're insignificant. If I were to die today, it would mean nothing for the universe. And
That's
like had
depressing, man. You
yeah,
know?
it is. It is super fucking
Yeah,
depressing.
absolutely.
And you know, back then, like, what else did they have to live for? You know, they weren't going to the
Hmm.
movies. They weren't going to the movies on Friday night. They were going to the arena to watch two dudes beat the shit out of each other until one was
Or
dead.
or they were going out to hunt with the bow to try to bring back to the village. You know,
Oh yeah,
person who brought the biggest deer was the coolest person, right?
right.
And yeah, there's always that competitive drive, and I think like no matter what, whether it's even if you tried to like pay everyone's wages for a town, I feel like there would still be people who would try to compete. There would probably, and one of the best illustrations I've heard too, not to get too off the topic, is a billionaire said this one time. He said, if you reset the finances of everyone in a town, you give $10,000 to everyone. You take all their money away, start them off with $10,000. Everyone's equal. Those who were poor before, within 2 weeks, would be poor again. Those who had money before, within 2 weeks, would have money again. And I think a lot of that just has to do with like human drive, other things, different habits. Because some people are not given like good money habits. I'm a person who has terrible money habits, and Gracie has to be like, Kevin, quit it, quit spending money. I'm like, yeah, you're right. And it was one of those things too that really stuck with me. Is I feel like even if it was the case, simulation, whatever, I feel like no matter what, no two people are going to have the same experience. You could take two people, set them in the same town, same money, same name, same looks, same everything, and they're not going to have the same experience. No, I feel like no one is. And I think that's like the beauty of life, you know? Like I have different experiences as you, and there's like things that you do or have that I could be jealous of, and then there's probably like things that I do or have that you might be jealous of. Not in a evil jealous way, right? Like not in an evil way, but like man, I wish I was more like that guy. And I think there's like a beauty thing to that. It makes people unique.
Yeah.
Like I think it's good to be unique, you know? Not to be like boring, but to be unique.
No,
That's my two
I
cents.
agree with that. I agree with that. I think, I mean, I 100% agree with that. I think everybody has a different experience. I also, like you said, I just kind of lean more on the optimistic side. I want to believe that even though if you were to take a whole town and give everybody $3,000, you'd have the people that would waste it and use it on just like whatever selfish things. But I think you would also have people who would put that, you know, to good use.
Yeah.
I, you know, they
Yeah.
say the cure for cancer is in some kid's head that can't afford to go to school. You know what I
True.
mean? And
True.
like I feel that way. I really feel like they're, you
Mhm.
know, eventually we're gonna hit a point where we have to have like some sort of united front. You know, we need to focus
Oh,
on
absolutely.
like education. You know, and fuck man, the curriculum. I'm hearing about it now from when I was in school. I'm like, dude, this shit is ridiculous. Like, why are we not? How come after what 100 years we're not teaching kids how to like pay a mortgage or like balance their checkbook, how to pay their fucking taxes? You know, like why
Right.
are these things these real
Right.
life needs? Why are
I'm
we
gonna tell you
not
something right
teaching
now.
kids these needs? You know?
I'm gonna tell you something right now, because if they did, kids would realize how much bullshit paying taxes is. Not taxes in general. Taxes are good for a country, but how we pay taxes is bullshit.
Right?
You have to like hire an accountant. You have to factor every little thing in. This is this percent. This is that percent. Taxes should literally be like 10% of someone's income. That's it. You want to know why? Because like you're teaching some 10-year-old, by the way, when you grow up, you're gonna have to do this, 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 this. That kid's gonna be like, man, this is garbage. When I turn 18, we're gonna rally against it and change this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, by the time I'm an adult, like, oh well, oh, there it
We
is.
need that. We need that
Yeah,
change and we
right.
need that reform. I've seen
Right.
there's a chick on TikTok who does a series on like how bullshit school is and how it's been like that
Mhm.
forever. I can't remember what president it was. I'm gonna say Carter, but I can't remember if it was Carter or not. But came out and said, I don't want a nation of thinkers, like I want a nation of workers. You know, and it's like,
That's
damn,
exactly why school
like,
is designed to teach you to stay in line, and it's designed
yep,
because it was back during the well, kind of the industrial age, and then also after, you know, when chemical plants were becoming big, car plants, chemical plants,
right,
GEM, everything. Schools were actually designed to teach someone to grow up and work in a factory. The smart kids they put in the smart class to be engineers. The not as good kids they put into handiwork classes to do that. And think about how the school treats a kid. You got to be there for 12 hours a day. You get only so many breaks. You get a lunch break. If you act out of line, you get in trouble for it. It's just like working in a chemical plant. I worked in a chemical plant for 3 years, and it was just like you do the mundane task over and over and over and over again. You get one 30-minute break, you get a 45-minute break for lunch, and then you get a 30-minute break like 3 hours later, and then you go home.
Right.
And like I realized that a lot of schools are not teaching you to be critical thinkers. One, because then you're gonna think this system's kind of messed up, you know. No, they don't want you to be a critical thinker. They want you to follow orders. That's why they give you worksheets. That's why they give you certain homework. That's why if you try to think outside the box, the teacher will usually yell at you or something. It's because they don't want you to be critical thinkers. And that's
Yep.
something that like really drives me nuts is because critical thinking is a great thing. We need more critical thinkers. And everybody's like becoming zombies.
We
It's
do.
horrible.
I think that's I think that's where we start though. If we want we're raising the next generation to take over for us, you know? Like I think that's definitely where our focus needs to be is like upgrading education and like focusing more on the stuff like even hospitals, man. Like not while we're on conspiracy is like for the last couple of years, I have never had a pleasant hospital experience.
Oh my.
It always
No.
you need to sign here. Oh, did you sign this? Oh, this is going to cost this much. Is this going to be okay? And it's like, dude, I could be shot and bleeding and you're going to sit here and talk to me about fucking paperwork instead of save my life, you know? And like I
Yeah,
just
it's horrible.
dude, I hate watching movies where it's like, I have to go. No, don't go save that person. You'll just end up getting hurt. I have to because I'm a medical professional. And it's like, I want that. Where is that? Why are
right.
people like go to school to become doctors and nurses and stuff for the money?
No, doctors and nurses have it horrible. I think like 70% of nurses quit during the last 2 years. Like they really do have it bad. Like, it's one of those things. But I'm not going to say why because you know I don't want to get us put on the real conspiracy theorist list,
okay,
right?
okay.
But like, yeah, listen, man, I'm just saying. There's you know, I'm just saying,
Johnny Law is listening, you know.
yeah, right. Like Big Brother's listening right now, right? I'm gonna behave, but like,
They're
I
always
feel like
listening.
1984 was definitely. I didn't happen in 1984. But I wouldn't be surprised if we are living in a 1984 society, but we're just like so engrossed in it that we have no idea. And now, like the veil is being torn because everything's going downhill. Like I just saw a thing in the 90s that said that 6 people owned all media, and it was on SNL for one day, and then it was cut from media. Right, 6 people own all media. Big monopolies did this. And then it's just becoming prevalent again because shit's going downhill. And you're starting to see the cracks in the wall. You're starting to say, wait a minute, this nice house is a piece of garbage. There's cracks everywhere. What in the world?
Yeah, no, there's a bunch of shadow stuff. There's like
yeah,
the billionaires that we see are like the goofy ones that are out in public too. Like
there's a lot of them hiding who seem real nefarious. Yeah,
there's a dude, and I don't know if he's nefarious or not, but there's a dude in Saudi Arabia, the actual richest man in the world, has like $30 trillion on record. That's recorded. That might not even be all of his wealth, but the dude has like $30 trillion. You know,
here's my question:
how much money that is?
What are you going to do with $30 trillion? What are you even going to do with like $30 billion? Like, here's the thing: I'm not a socialist. I'm not a communist or anything like that. I promise I'm not. But like, who needs that kind of money? I could make like $500K a year. I don't make $500K a year. I make way less. But if I could make like $500K a year and live great for the rest of my life, you know, I couldn't imagine having $1 million. I couldn't even imagine having $1 billion. That is mind-boggling.
It goes back to that question, man. Like you said, people get bored, and like I do believe that people live within their means. You know, like if you get a raise at work or something, you're like, oh yes, I had this extra money, I could do so much with this, and then like your routine catches up to that super fast, so you're right back to the same like spending habits. You know, essentially.
All I'm saying is
I don't know. Really mean anything.
Yeah. I don't know how in the world I could spend like crazy spend and go broke if I had $1 billion. That's $1,000 million. Like most people who work like all their life might make close to $1 million in their whole lifetime. I'm talking gross income before taxes and before spending everything else, right? And yeah, so I would have to spend 1,000 lifetimes of one person just to spend $1 billion. That is wild. That is wild. I'm telling you one thing. I ever get famous on Twitch, I'm inviting you. I'm inviting other people I know. I'm not gonna be like the guy who forgets people if they get okay. And we're gonna have like the coolest party ever. If I ever get rich off Twitch, which probably won't happen, I'm gonna have like the biggest party ever. Blow so much money.
That's what I like to
Said it.
say, that if I were ever to get rich, like I would have the same routine. I would buy the same cheap ass drinks. I'd buy the same cheap ass drinks.
Right.
You know, like I wouldn't
Right.
go crazy with it, you know.
I
Like
wouldn't want to live above my means, but I would do like one big celebration, you know? I would do like one
yeah,
big
no,
celebration. Like,
absolutely.
yo,
That's
I'm rich,
something that's something different.
Yeah.
Like doing nice
Yeah.
things for your friends and shit, and like throwing parties and
Yeah.
stuff. Totally different. But like Ben Folds 5, Ben Folds, prime example. I love this dude to death. He has millions of dollars. He lives in like a 1-bedroom apartment. He still drives like a shitty Toyota Corolla. Like he has all this money, and like he doesn't flaunt it, and he doesn't buy shit that he doesn't need, you know, like, and
smart.
I mean, it is smart and it's really cool.
Yeah.
But also, like, I don't know, if you got that much money, you kind of have to do something with it, you know. For local businesses, something I learned recently, for local businesses, if you are not in debt, you are not making money. That concept blows my mind. So if you're a local business, if you're making any sort of profit, and you're not immediately spending that profit on like more locations or putting yourself further in debt, you are not actually making money, and that
makes
fucking
sense.
blows my mind. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say, if it ever was the case I made a lot of money, I definitely wouldn't like sit on it. But here's the thing, I would be careful how I give it. Like, especially I would have contracts to giving it to people, or contracts to giving it to charities or something, because there are plenty of people in the world that you would ruin their life by giving them $1 million. Look at any look at a lot of the Powerball winners, or like lottery winners, or people like that, and look at how they were after they lost all that money. There was someone in Charleston, because I'm originally from West Virginia, right? There was a person in Charleston who won like $100 million or something like that, and he ended up taking his own life. His daughter took her own life, and by the time he did it, he was insanely in debt and broke. And one of the reasons for that was because he never had that money, and then he came to it and he didn't know what to do with it. He didn't know how to handle it. Bad advice, people borrowing money, all sorts of other things, buying stupid things, right? And so, like, one, if I did become really rich, I would take the route you did and try to be very frugal with my money, not frivolous. Right. Simply because, like, I don't know if I'm going to keep it. Like, someone gets really big on Twitch, they make like $1 million a year. What happens if they get like canceled next year? You know, they piss the wrong person off, they get canceled.
Right.
Yeah, like, where's that income now? You know.
I think the pro strat would be to, you know, invest and try to make that money into a point where the interest is what you're living off of. So like, if you have so much money that you can get like $2,000 or $3,000 in interest off of it a month, then your budget for yourself needs to be like $2,000 or $3,000 a month. You know what I mean? That way, that money is constantly making you money. There was like a men's magazine that I read like 15 years ago that was like, you can liquidate all of your assets, and if you can get $120,000, you can live in a hut in Fiji on the beach and just keep your money in the bank and just live off the interest every month.
That's true.
It sounded so insane at the time, but now I'm like, yeah, dude. Because like, you got to think the taxes that you're gonna pay on that shit. You know, if you win $1 million off the lottery, you didn't win $1 million. You won about 445. Yeah. You won less than $500,000, you know, and then the next year you're gonna end up paying like a shitload of taxes on that too. Like that goes back in with you have to be in debt to continue to make money, you know. So you need to like invest it into something that's gonna make you money, you know.
Absolutely. No, that's a fantastic thought. I remember one businessman said, if you're not making money while you sleep, then you're gonna work until you die. And that one sticks with me too. He said, if you're not making money while you sleep, you'll work till you die.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that one really stuck with me.
I'm probably gonna work until I die.
I too.
I got tired of being in the corporate machine.
Yeah, right. I mean, I have like a lot of ambitious ideas, but I also have like, if they never happen, they never happen. I mean, would it be cool to blow up on Twitch? Yeah, but then I also think like, what if IRL people start watching me? I blow up on Twitch, and I get like, someone watches me and they're like, oh yeah, there was Kevin. That was a dumb dickhead. I did a lot of stupid things in junior high, right? They're like, yeah, that was a dumb dickhead who did that stupid thing back then. I'm like, oh, great, here we go. So like, there's always like fears that come with it, and the chance of me blowing up on Twitch is like 1 in 6 million for any of us. It's like 1 in 6 million chance. You might as well buy a lot of your tickets. But that being said, when it comes to Twitch, and I was actually going to do like a year review video on this. I didn't, but I did come to the mindset that there are 3 things to focus on that will really help someone as a content creator. And I'm going to impart this wisdom for free. You know, me, Kevy Kevster, been streaming for a year. I average like 7 people. Obviously, so wise. Obviously, no.
Best advice ever. Let's go.
Right. But I call it the 3 C's. The 3 C's that have helped me a lot, and I think they'll help anyone. Its first one is creativity. You gotta be creative. Like if I play in a game that I'm pretty good at, I usually do like a wheel of torment. And for example, if I die or game over, I have to spin the wheel. And one of the options could be like 10 push-ups, or an option could be like chat gets to talk crap for 5 minutes, or an option could be I have to do something embarrassing. You're right. People love that. They stay in the stream just to watch me die so they can giggle about it. And then creativity is a big one, especially for someone starting out. You've got to stand out because there's 6 million other people doing it, and if someone's just sitting in front of their monitor, just doing that all day, right? How is it standing out? And you could have the best camera, you could have the best mic, you could have the best setup, but if you're not doing something creative to work with it, you're throwing swirls to swine. You're throwing pearls to swine. You know, like you got that fancy stuff. It's not going to help you. Creativity is a big thing.
I like that phrase. By the way. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Throwing pearls to swine.
Throwing pearls to swine. Oh, it's true. You got like the best setup. You spend $2,000 for a great setup, and you got 3 viewers, and you're not doing anything to grow. You threw pearls to the swine. You have wasted $2,000.
I noticed that so much, and I hate it so much because like I know so many people that go like the Call of Duty route, and like a lot of them don't use cameras and they have mics, but they don't talk at all because there's nobody in chat talking. Like you have to talk to yourself for a while.
You got to talk to yourself.
You're gonna be talking to yourself.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I have a speaking of talking a lot. I used to, not as much anymore, but I would go to Notepad and I would type like 20 conversation starters or 20 different things I want to discuss. Almost like turn my stream into my own personal podcast. Like there's so many games coming out next year. Forspoken, Dead Space remake, Harry Potter, Hogwarts Legacy, all sorts of other things, right? And those are things I could talk about. When Pokemon was going to come out, I talked about it. I had a list of Nintendo games, and I even, when I played Mario Maker a lot, I gotta put my headset in. It's about to die. 1 sec. I had a big list of what would people want to see in a Mario Maker sequel. And I would ask all my Mario Maker fans, I would say, what do you want to see in a Mario Maker sequel? What would be big things you want? And I would explain things that I wanted. And next thing I know, it's 3 hours later and we talked the whole time. And that was being creative. It was, okay, what can I do? What can I talk about today? I avoided political things. I avoided run-of-the-mill weekly things. Like if there was a news article that some crazy person ran over a bunch of people, I avoided that. But man, did I talk about the court case afterwards when the guy tried to defend himself. Holy crap, what an unhinged guy, okay? Like, I talked about it. That guy was insane. Are you kidding me? I was like, holy crap, did you see that? Did you see that court trial? People were like, oh my gosh, that was wild. The guy was like staring down the lady, trying to get her to say something to call a mistrial. It was wild, okay? Like, seriously. But a lot of times before stream, I would type, okay, what are we going to talk about today? And I would usually try to guide the conversation. I would try to guide the situation or anything like that and get people talking. Because if you try to ask someone a bunch of questions, you're interrogating them, whether you realize it or not. Like you get someone to come to your stream. Oh, hey, how's your day? Oh, hey, what's your favorite game? Oh, hey, what's your thing? Oh, what did you do here? Oh, what did you do there? That's exhausting. Like I remember when I would go
I'm taking down notes, dude. Like you just nailed my problem on the head, man. Because I get a lot of viewers and like only like
because here's
little
the thing.
chunks of conversation. So like
right.
I just don't want I think my only concern with it is I don't want to seem like I'm pandering, you know. I don't want to I don't want to look up like, oh, what's the hot trendy thing to talk about right now? Okay, cool. I'm gonna plug that in. But you kind of have to. You really kind of have to.
You kind of have to. Yeah, you gotta stay ahead of the times.
What you got me with was the interrogating thing, because like, damn, I never really realized I do that every fucking stream. I'm just like trying to ask. I'm trying to ask questions to individuals to make them feel special, you know?
Yeah, there's a balance with it because people want to feel special. Like, I have a person who I found out, a viewer, who only lives like an hour from me, and they go to a lot of restaurants I know of, and they love to talk about food. So when she comes to my stream, I'll be like, hey, what did you do this weekend? Well, she'll say, well, I went to this restaurant with my boyfriend. Well, I recognize that restaurant. And I'm like, yo, I love that place. What'd you get? Well, I was basic. I got the chicken tenders. But actually, I know that one restaurant, they make them really flaky. They flavor them real well, and the chicken tenders there are top notch compared to other restaurants. So I'm like, yo, no, that's not basic. I get those, and I get this, and that's a conversation back and forth.
Right.
But like, I would remember, I would do like speed dating and stuff like that back in the day. And one of the things that people do is they would ask a bunch of questions. What do you do here? And especially, you could see the signs of like a dying conversation is when one person started asking a lot of questions, and then the other person was like, "Well, I'm gonna back off," and then it's like, "Oh, okay, well, oh, okay,"
Yeah,
and
it gets awkward. Then it kind of
it
yeah. I
does
see
get
what you're saying.
awkward. And it was one of those things too, especially about streaming. I want to make everyone feel welcome, but the problem is, I go to streams and I lurk a lot, and it's nothing personal. But one of the reasons I only stream 5 hours a day is because I spend about 3 hours video editing, or I'm trying to work on different creative stuff. How can I make that video cool? How can I do other things? Like one thing I want to do for my stream is I want to take the VOD from the past day, find about 2 minutes worth of snippets of cool things that happened, and have like a previously on yesterday's stream. And then it does like a bunch of crazy things leading up to the end of the stream. And then it says, now on today's stream, let's continue it. Because I feel like that'd be a really cool option. Like it's something I want to work on, and I'm trying to learn video editing because like I think like instead of just having music at the beginning, I would do like music for a few minutes for people to come in, do the previously on the stream, show off a bunch of cool stuff, segue into announcement like, hey, what's up? And then start the stream, continue where we left off.
That's a lot easier to do if you have chat clipping stuff for you. And I mean, you can clip stuff yourself. You can set up like a hotkey or something like, which I think would definitely help.
Right.
I might steal that idea from you.
Oh, take it. Like by all means, take it. Listen, we're working to grow together. Take it.
Oh yeah,
like,
no.
You do a lot of cool video stuff.
One of my favorite lines is great artists borrow from other artists. The best artists steal. And
yeah.
And
true,
it sounds fucked up, but like really it's not, dude. Like when you're looking for inspiration, for overlays or like whatever, like what do? You go check out other streamers and you try to get an idea of what you don't steal from them directly, you know what I mean?
Right.
But like you get ideas and stuff and you have to take those ideas that you like and you have to turn it into your own.
Absolutely.
And
it's
like
one of those things
music.
Like
nothing has ever not been, no chord has not been played yet. You're never gonna find some magic chord that nobody's ever played before. You have to take something else and make it your own.
What is it? Pachelbel's canon is like in every song ever. Burn, 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 burn.
I've never heard. I recognize that.
You gotta look that up. Because that chord is in all sorts of modern music. But I look at the larger streamers and I say, what are they doing? And then I'll go to smaller streamers, and what are they doing? Like one prime example, and this is not something anyone in this conversation does, but there's a person I watch to support them because I care about them a lot, but they got a ton of shit on their screen, like different VTuber models, like different stuff, and then their game is like this tiny little part of the big square, and I'm like, how in the world am I supposed to focus on anything? I mean, it's their thing, they do it, and then I'll go to like a larger streamer. Right, and they got their portrait in a corner, and they got Chad maybe under them, and that's it. They don't have a lot, and they make up for other stuff. But then I've also seen larger streamers who do have a huge bunch of overlay stuff, like a lot of cool overlay stuff, and there's a lot of give and take. But I think creativity is like a big thing, and I've stolen from other people. Shamelessly, I've stolen from other people. Are you kidding me? Someone does something really cool, like the Wheel of Punishment. I stole from another streamer. I didn't think of that on my own. I stole it from another streamer.
Right.
All my different impersonations, I stole from another streamer. I absolutely did because it worked. People would save up points to redeem it, and it worked. And but then
people like to be involved. Yeah, they like to be interactive. If they can control the streamer.
Right, and that brings me to my second point because creativity is a big one, right? Especially for making YouTube, for making TikToks, you've got to stand out. You've got to be creative. Be like, let the creative juices flow. But the second one to transition to is community. That's the second C. Because here's the thing. Discoverability will get people in, but a good community will keep people. Because I learned this like the hard way. After 50 followers and you get your affiliate, followers do not matter anymore. They really don't. Like, if I don't get any followers a day, I don't care. Because they don't matter as much as you think they do. A lot of people will just follow to get their name on the screen, and then they're gone. Like, and I get that. That's cool. Like, for example, there may be 3 people who follow me, and I never see them again. And however, I offer my Discord, or I offer stuff to follow. and people do join the Discord, and then they become part of the community. And if there's like a stinker in the community, I kick them. If there's someone who's being annoying or they're being creepy and someone brings it to my attention, I take care of it because I like it to have a good, healthy community. And I think that's a good thing. Like, say, for example, you got a favorite restaurant and you go there because one, the food's good, that's content, but also you go there because you love the vibes. But if you go to your favorite restaurant and you got some guy in the corner drunkenly yelling all sorts of slurs and horrible things, that's gonna really hinder your experience. You don't want to stay at that restaurant. You don't want to stay
definitely.
there.
Definitely.
Yeah, that just ruined your experience, right? And
yeah,
like,
don't every viewer matters, but also at the same time, every viewer doesn't matter. Like if you got somebody in there that's if you do not tolerate shit in your chat that just because you're scared of losing a viewer, especially if they donate money to try and get away with it. I've seen that time and time again over the last few years.
None of that quid pro quo nonsense. Like I don't do share for share. I don't do quid pro quo. Like I do my own thing. And
good point, but that's not what I meant. Just people that can act like assholes in chat, and then they're like, "Oh, here's like a $50 donation. Now I'm gonna act like an asshole for an hour." And like, no, dude, don't ever like that. Money's not worth it because they're gonna fucking drive everybody else away from your chat.
Right? Yeah, and there are some people who think like I especially see it in smaller streamers, and everybody says like women have it easier. I don't like to use the word female too much. I mean, I use it for like gender describing, but everybody says like women have it easier. I can't tell how many times I've gone to a smaller woman's stream, and there's like that one guy who thinks he owns her because he's like her sugar daddy. And anyone else comes in the community and he tries to run him off, and then she wants to say something, but hey, he's paying her rent, you know. And I would hate to be in that situation. I would hate to be in that situation. Like have my actions dictated by someone donating money. I would hate for that. That'd be horrible.
That would be awful, and I hate that for I super hate that for any of the like the female streamers and like the women's community on Twitch, you know.
And like everybody says women have it easier. I fully disagree. Like
they definitely don't. They deal with so much shit. You know, and I the worst is when dude streamers are like, oh my god, they're taking all the viewers and stuff. It's like no, they're not.
They weren't gonna watch you in the first place,
dude. That's not your target market. Like those dudes were never gonna pay you money.
Right? Like I'm not gonna have some simp come to my stream and be like, yo, Kevin, what's up?
Kevin, your chest is looking pretty nice tonight.
Yeah, right.
Here's $20.
Here's $20.
Don't spend that all at one place.
Yo, Kevin, I'll give you $100 to your feet. If someone said to me they were gonna give me $100 to my feet, I would show my feet. But I know they're not doing it for sexual reasons. They're doing it to make fun of me. You know, but whatever. Here's my feet. Now, but here's the thing, right? If the roles were reversed, I don't put up with that stuff, anyways, because it makes others uncomfortable. And like I can take a lot. It takes a lot to make me uncomfortable. It really does. It takes a lot to give me the heebie-jeebies. Now there was like a certain incident which I'm not going to bring up, and it gave me the heebie-jeebies. And someone brought it up to me. I was like, yeah, I'll take care of it, right? But it takes a lot to give me the heebie-jeebies. It really does. But I've had to learn to be more compassionate to others because, say for example, I've got someone talking in the Discord call, and they're 15 years old, which my Discord is 13 up. If you're under 13, get out. Now, of course, I have certain containment channels for people who want to talk a little risque. That's fine. But the general Discord is 13 plus. And if it is the case that there is a teenager in the phone call, I've always felt they need to be protected. They do. They need to be protected. And if someone's making them uncomfortable, I'm going to shut that stuff down immediately. And I think like having that strong boundary, because boundaries are very important. And I think boundaries, I learned this the hard way. I really did. But you treat people how you teach people how to treat you. Boundaries are not only important, they're necessary. Because they're necessary. And there's no getting around it. They are necessary. Because if there's someone making you uncomfortable and you don't do anything about it because, well, I don't know what to do here, it's only going to get worse. Because
it is. It allows and invites other people to come in and do that. They see that and they think it's acceptable behavior. And like, dude, I fucking deal with that every day, dude. Every day I see that shit on Twitter and on Twitch. And it's like,
and here's the thing: you become the company you keep. And if, for example, I have a community where everybody's sexist, and I mean they just trash talk women, and I do nothing about it, what's going to happen when, like, say, a female streamer or a respectable woman sees my community? How do you think they're going to respond to it? Now, I've never made a sexist joke, and I've never made a sexist comment,
but it's your
but I
community.
fostered a community.
Yeah,
I fostered a community that does it.
You're a community
Yeah.
leader. Yeah, you're the
Yeah.
leader of your community, and you're
Absolutely.
responsible for that.
I cannot control what any person does, but I'm still responsible for it.
Yeah.
If I have a viewer and they go into some, like, say for example, they go into your stream and they spam my Twitch link and say you should go watch Kevin, he's way cooler. Which if they ever did that, I'd ban them on the spot. I don't put up with that. I'm not in control of their actions, but I'm still responsible for it. The damage would still be done. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. The
Yeah.
damage would already be done.
Yeah.
And I think it's good for streamers to stick together on stuff like that too.
Oh,
Like I can't.
absolutely.
I've lost count of how many times somebody has gotten banned in like one of my friends' streams, and then comes over to my stream and is like, "Man, you won't believe this! I can't believe so and so banned me." And I'm like, I don't know why you would come here and tell me this. My friend banned you for a reason. I don't even need to know what the reason is. Bye.
Out. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like.
Absolutely.
You are putting the nail in your own. I actually appreciate that you came over here and told me that. So you didn't come hang out in my stream, and I had to find out later from somebody else, you know. But I do think that we are reaching, dude, all the shit that's going on in the world, and the shit on Twitter, and like the people that don't feel safe right now. Like a lot of stuff's going on with that, and like even the VTube community, so many like faceless entities, and it's like, what's to stop them from saying something or doing something really hurtful, and then getting canceled or banned, and then just up and starting a new account the next day? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
And so they feel more comfortable. They feel more comfortable like saying like so much shit, and it's just like, you still need to be respectable, you know. You still need, you can be fun and goofy and be like, you know, this person who like, you can be the character or whatever you want to be, but that doesn't excuse you from like saying some really disrespectful shit to somebody else. And like I don't know, I think a lot more VTubers need to set ground rules for their
boundaries.
Like, hey, I'm cool. So I'm kind of flirty. Like, you can say I'm pretty or beautiful or whatever, but like, don't fucking talk to me sexually. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah, absolutely. Huge. And here's the thing, right? I used to be a doormat. And it wasn't because I'm naturally a doormat. It's just simply because I didn't like confrontation. And like I said, I can take a lot. Someone can come to me and say, you are the smelliest, dumbest dickhead, and I'll laugh it off. Okay, I'll laugh it off. That stuff don't bother me. You can say the meanest insult you want to me, and I'll probably laugh it off just because I'm that kind of person.
But if they bring your friend, if they bring your friends into it, then you're like,
it's different.
You're ready to stab somebody.
Yeah. And here's the thing: I have a good buddy, and he's gonna know I'm talking about him, and he knows who he is. He sees this, he knows who he is. That I had to put the reins on because he's an asshole. I love him. He's my boy, but he's a dickhead, and he was pissing off my viewers. He was pissing off my viewers, and now they were annoying viewers, so it kind of went hand in hand. They'd get into an argument, they'd leave, and he'd be like, well, hey, that's one less annoying person. But I should have handled it myself. Instead of letting that, because it could foster a very a very hostile environment. So I took care of it. I said, listen, let me take care of this from now on. You know, I appreciate what you do, but you can't keep being this way. And as a friend, I would appreciate it if you don't do these things. You don't say these things. Don't cause these problems. Let me handle it, right? And he did really good. He said a lot of people here aren't bad, and he worked on it, which is good. But because of that, there were some people who were apprehensive to watch me because he would be in my chat. And they saw how he treated other people, and they were afraid he was going to treat them that way. Now, would he? Probably not, because he's an a-hole, but he's only an a-hole if you piss him off, right? You don't piss him off, you got no problem. And I would joke with him, but he was, like I said, we were really close. So I could get away with joking with him in a way that if other people tried to banter the same way, he'd throw a fit, because that's just the kind of person he is. He'd make a problem, he would take a jab at him, and it's not cool, right?
Right.
And so
it's not cool. And like, I've seen that time and time again in my time on Twitch too, where like somebody who's like a close friend or somebody who's in the inner circle or something, like does something, or like you find something, they start saying weird shit, and like you find out like they're not the person you think they are, and like it hurts much worse because you know that person, but it's like, dude, like you like you said, you're the company that you keep, and like I can't have that around. Like I think
the worst thing
obviously
I
don't
think
have the same
yeah.
belief structure, you know, and like
Right.
you're gonna say
Right.
something, you know, like you can't keep that around.
I think absolutely, you're absolutely right. I think the worst part is whenever the person excuses it because it's someone close to them. Like if
Yeah,
anyone else did it,
yeah,
you know, they'd be like they'd do something about it, but because it's someone close to them. Now, my buddy never did anything horrible. He didn't do anything like cancel worthy, anything. He's just an asshole. You know, he's an
right.
asshole. I love him. I love him. I'm not gonna say their name. I don't want to call him out. You know, he's grown up a lot. He's doing a lot better, and he has. He's grown up a lot, and I'm very proud of him. You know, because
Good.
he's only 19. He's young, and a lot of us were assholes when we were 19. I mean, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But
A lot of life left to live and
absolutely,
like get
a lot of
wiser, you
experiences,
know.
ways
Yeah.
to grow up.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And but community is huge because nobody's going to hang out. You could be the most entertaining guy. You could be the most wholesome guy, and you got like a weird community. People aren't going to be there. Like my community likes to get a little risque. We like to joke around, but it's in good humor. You know, like for example, we joke. Me and Quinn will joke about wanting feet pics, or we'll joke about other stuff. And we had another friend, and she was sending Quinn socks, and I joked, and I knew she was cool with it. If she wasn't cool with it, I would have never joked about it. But I was like, you should put the socks on before you send it to them. Just joking. And they all went, no. And I'm like, what? People pay good money for it. And it's just funny, right? Like, we're all
Right.
laughing. We're all in on it. It's cool, right? But, like, if I said it to someone I didn't know, that's weird. Like, that's wrong. You know, like, oh, easy there.
I think that has to do with like the relationships that
Yeah.
you have. Again,
Yeah.
this is about being socially aware, okay?
Right.
Because like
Yeah,
the
that's a big thing.
way that I joke with my friends, you know,
It's
especially
completely
like,
different than a
dude,
stranger.
it's completely different from with a stranger because like
Yeah.
those boundaries are set, and because like you
Mhm.
got I have to feel comfortable enough with you, and you have to
Yeah.
feel comfortable enough with me to know that like when
Absolutely.
I say stuff like that, I'm joking. You know,
Absolutely.
no, I don't actually want feet pics. It was a joke.
No.
You
It was
know,
a joke. When I
And-
joke with someone to get under the desk because I'm good friends with them, I don't actually want them to get under the desk. I mean, unless they want to. No, I'm kidding.
unless they
unless
want
they're
to.
down for unless they want to right now.
No, but it's serious. I
Yeah.
mean, like we got a couple group
Yeah.
chats. You know, we send like cum jokes back and forth and like fucked up memes
absolutely.
and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's fun.
And like
It's good.
not necessarily stuff that I would just like post out in public. You know, like these
No.
are it's funny stuff because I feel comfortable enough with them, and I know that they know that I'm joking. You know, and like they're gonna laugh at
Absolutely.
it because they think it's funny. You know, and I think.
Right.
Being socially aware, you know, like you're not just
Yeah,
gonna
that's a
roll
huge
up on
thing.
somebody brand new and like send like a
No,
really fucked up meme,
never.
you know, or
Although,
or
I will
say
tell
something
you-
off the wall.
Yeah. I will tell you a funny way I trolled a friend, and they're very shy, introverted, so I had to get to know them first before I trolled them. I went into her stream, and I put the muted icon beside me, and I was like, I don't know what you did, but you muted me somehow. Can you help me? And they were like, I don't know what I did. I can try. And they started like typing to me in chat. And then another buddy was like, Kevin's trolling you. Just don't listen to him. I was like, dude, why'd you spoil it? He's like, I'm not gonna let you troll my buddy. I was like, darn it.
Right,
You know,
right. That's
it was
good. That's
humor.
really good. Though.
Yeah, it was
I like
cute.
that.
It was really cute.
I mean,
And,
that's wholesome though. That's not.
yeah.
That's not like.
Oh yeah, and I never took it too far. We just laughed about it, had a good time. But I can't stress this enough. Community is huge. I mean, here's the thing. I've lived life long enough. I've been rejected before, high school, college. You know, I wasn't ever the coolest person. But like, if I don't feel welcome in a stream, or I don't feel welcome in a community, I'm not gonna be in that stream, and I'm not gonna be in that Discord. I'm going to leave. Like, if people are being toxic, I'm not gonna like try to muscle through it to try to prove myself to be the cool kid. You know, I'm just gonna leave. And I feel like a lot of people feel that way. 90% of the reason someone goes to Twitch, and this is the truth that people don't talk about very often. 90% of the reason someone goes to watch a Twitch stream is because they're lonely. They're alone. They need company.
Right.
You watch a YouTube video, that's for entertainment purposes. Now you can really like enjoy a person, comment on their stuff, but that's for entertainment. You watch a TV show, you're not talking to that actor. You go to a Twitch stream, you're talking to that broadcaster in real time.
Right.
That is a conversation. That is engagement. And I feel like a lot of people go to Twitch because they're lonely. And one of the worst things you can do is make them feel worse. There's not many worse feelings than being lonely, but rejection is definitely one of them. Or like being ostracized is one of them. Or being treated terribly is not good. And I think a community is a good thing because someone enjoys your stream and they enjoy hanging out with the people in your stream. They're going to come back. And I think it works for both of us. Like, I went to Tanuki Dan's stream. That's how I met all y'all. I went to Tanuki Dan's stream. And then got to talking to people. Next thing I know, I'm joking back and forth with Kama. And I'm like, this person's really cool. And then I found she mentions you, of course, because she's like, that's my husband. So I check you out. I'm like, this guy's really cool. And then the next thing you know, we're all becoming friends and hanging out and having a good time.
Yeah.
And that's community. But here's the thing, right? And you're a very cool guy. You're a very cool guy. But it could have been the thing where I said hi to Kama and you were like, listen here, buddy, you ever talk to my wife again, I will kill you. And I'd be like, all right, I'm out. Okay. All right. I'm not even going to the dance stream anymore. You know, it's like, all right, I'm out. Like, and I never did anything worthy of it. Now, if I was a piece of crap creep, like, by all means, just chew me a new one, right? Like, the totally different scenarios, right?
Right.
But, like, you were very cool. You were very welcoming, very engaging. I'm like, I like this guy. He's really cool. Look, we're doing a podcast together now.
Because it's, I mean, not to stray off topic too much, but she has a lot of guy friends. She has a few like really close girlfriends, but she has mostly guy friends. And like, you know, if you're married to somebody, it's got to be built on trust. And like most of her guy friends, like I've fallen in love with too. They're awesome. I like hanging out with them.
Absolutely.
Like Whiskey. I met Whiskey and Whiskey Pits and Kung Fu through her. Mm-hmm. Man, dude, I fucking love those guys. You know, we've hung out in person and stuff like that. You know, it's like, the only thing that really bothers me is like, I don't know, dude, when fucking creeps come out of the woodwork for like the cosplay pictures and stuff. And dude, that shit, it gets under my skin so bad, dude. Like when
absolutely.
Like,
well, you want to look after her, right?
You're so sexy. And it's like, dude, you don't even fucking know her. And also she's married. Shut your fucking mouth.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
I understand it completely. Like,
and like you don't want to be, I was just gonna say, like, you don't want to be like, I don't ever want to be like because she's an adult, she's a grown up, she can handle herself, you know, like if she needs me to step in, she'll let me know, you know, and it's like I don't ever want to be like the overbearing husband that's like jumping into every situation, you know what I mean?
But if you love someone, you're gonna want to look after them, you know, like same for Gracie. Gracie's an adult; she can take care of herself. But if someone starts being weird towards her, I'm gonna step in. Like,
fuck yeah, dude.
Immediately, yeah. I know, I get that. I respect that completely, absolutely.
Same. And you can kind of tell, you can tell people's energies, man. You know what I mean? Like, trust me, when new people come around, I definitely like give like kind of a close look to, and like I usually get pretty good. I get a vibe.
Yeah, absolutely.
I get a vibe first.
That's smart. Yeah, I have no problem. I have no problem with Gracie having guy friends. Absolutely no problem. She has no problem with me having friends that are ladies either. Like, we both trust each other. She always tells me, though, she says, I don't trust, it's not that I don't trust you. I don't trust other women. And, I mean, she must see something in me that I don't, because I don't think I'm that attractive. And this is not, like, putting myself down. I'm just being modest. Like, I'm not a catch. Like, okay, listen.
Whatever. Look at that face. I just want to snuggle your face right now.
There you go. And I have that same mentality. Like, if she's got a buddy, like, she has a lot of work buddies that are guys, and they're super chill dudes. I'm like, yeah, you go, you know, do whatever. But like, if someone's ever like, yo, what's up, baby girl, you know, or
right,
weird,
like, hey,
show me that booty, or, you know, like, whoa, let's pump the brakes here, people. Yeah, he's like, whoa, let's pump the brakes here. It's a little wrong,
and
but
like,
that's also a part of the community, yeah.
There's a second part to that. One, it's like it's protective because it's somebody you love, and also it's not a distrust between you and your spouse. No. It's a distrust of whoever this other person is, right? And like you don't want your spouse to get into an uncomfortable position. But two, on the other side of that, I feel like it is up to us to like lead other people by example too. So like not only is it like, hey, whoa, pump the brakes. Because of this situation, it's also, whoa, pump the brakes. You don't need to fucking talk to anybody like that. You need to reevaluate how you approach situations and how you approach people, and you don't need to say stuff like that to anybody. You know?
Yep. Like, and if we don't say it to someone, who's going to, right?
Exactly.
You know? And because here's the thing, and it wasn't like, I used to wonder, like, why don't women just tell the guy to fuck off? You know, like, tell the guy, like, get the hell out of here. Don't say that. Here's why. Because those creepy guys are usually also the unhinged guys. They're the scary guys. They're the, you know, and it's one of those things like,
true too.
You got to step in and say, hey, you can't talk to my wife that way. I'm a big guy. Don't try nothing with me, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, whoa, listen, don't talk to my wife that way. Absolutely. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And it's like, don't talk to any woman that way, especially. Yeah, and I care about all women, but I live with my wife, okay? And I have there's a special connection that you have with someone you're married to. Yes. There is. Like, if any other woman was on a bridge on one side, I don't care if it's like a supermodel, I don't care if it's like anime looking cosplay model, I don't care. And Gracie's on the other side, and I can only choose to save one person. I save Gracie every single time. There's a special love there, you know, like, in Greek mythology, they used to believe that the gods had to split people up because people used to be two-headed, four-armed beasts that were super powerful. And in Greek mythology, they actually believe that people are trying to connect together again to become that being again. And there's definitely like a completion that happens when two people get married. And it's one of those things like I'm not being jealous here, but if anything ever happened to Gracie, I'm going feral, okay? Like look at Superman and Lois Lane. How many times did Superman like swoop in for Lois Lane because he loved her? You know, some of the person
Right.
falling off a skyscraper was like, yeah, I might save him. Lois Lane like bangs her toe. He's like, I'm there. What's up? You know, it's like I'm here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's
Was
that
it
love thing,
Injustice and then the Injustice game where like something
Oh
tragic
yeah,
happens to Superman
Joker
and
kills
like he
Lois
just
Lane and Superman goes bad. Yeah.
fucking unhinged.
Oh yeah.
Unhinged.
You know, I used to think like that's a little much, but then after being married, I thought to myself like, if someone ever killed Gracie, I'm going John Wick on their ass. Like seriously, someone ever did anything to Gracie, I'm going like John Wick on their ass. Like seriously, man, no
Yeah.
questions asked.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%. And yeah, like a lot of that to tie back into other things. Everyone in my community is so nice to Gracie, and that really like warms my heart. And they're not weird about it, but they're always like, "We love Gracie. She's the best. She's amazing. We love Gracie." And I'm like, "Man, that, that's kind of heartwarming. You know, it makes her feel welcome, and I love that too." And
Yeah.
community,
Like I said,
yeah,
like compliments are nice, dude. Like
oh,
compliments
absolutely.
are super nice. Like you want
Yeah,
you want your spouse to be built up, you know. You just like you want compliments, like you want your spouse to get compliments and
Right.
and like it's super nice. And it's nice and it's wholesome from people when it is
Right.
wholesome, you know.
It is wholesome when it's not. There's not like an ulterior motive behind it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Here's
but
my
if somebody
thing.
comes in and is like, I, you know, blah blah blah, like I think you're sexy.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that's
Yeah.
fucking one. Like
Oh,
you don't
chill,
even,
yeah.
you don't even know this person.
Right,
Like you are
right.
brand. Who the fuck are you? And then like on top
Right.
of that, it's also like you shouldn't talk to anybody that way. Like,
Right.
like
I mean, it's
ever.
different whenever both people are into it. That's different. But when you just meet someone, they're not into it. They don't want to be talked to that way. People don't want to be sexualized. Like people do
Right.
sexual things, but they don't want to be sexualized. And I feel like so many people struggle to understand that. Like, yeah, someone might do sexual
one of
things,
my-
but they don't want to be sexualized.
One of my other streamer friends did bring it up, like, because you know you do get into these friend groups and stuff. Like, I feel comfortable, like, if I was just gonna be like, "Oh, Kevy, I want to snuggle your face so bad," like, obviously, I'm kidding. I love you. You know,
What?
you're a good friend.
I'm leaving the podcast.
I'm leaving. No, but but there's that comfortability there. I feel like we have that
right.
kind of relationship, you know. But that also, if we display that in chat or like, you know, in a public forum somewhere, then it also does kind of invite and like makes people think that they're allowed to jump on that. And when they don't have that kind of relationship with us, that can also be kind of a problem. So like being aware of that, talking about it, you know, definitely helps.
How come they're allowed to joke like that, but I'm not?
Exactly, because we don't know you. Yeah, we don't know you.
Yeah,
it's
we don't know you.
uncomfortable. You
Yeah,
know,
it's weird,
we don't know if you're being serious or not. You know,
Right?
like
Yeah, we joke about it, but like, if I had to share a motel room with you, I wouldn't have to like keep the lights on or something. You know, I can trust you, right? Yeah, it's like we joke about it, but it's jokes. It's fun, absolutely. And then like you get some random guy in there, it's like whoa. And I think a lot of it just has to do with comfortability too. Like, but like all things considered, these are all like minor details. But community is key, and we laugh about it, but it's true. Like we keep good company, and it's one of those things too. Like I firmly think community is the most important thing. I think that creativity is important. I think community is the most important thing, though. I really do. I think a good friend group, I think a good society, I think a good community is so important. And I'm not talking about that fake, like, toxic positivity BS. I'm talking about a healthy, fun community where everybody trusts each other, everybody feels welcome, everybody feels happy. That's a fantastic thing. And it's a hard thing to keep, too.
It is so hard. Because it only takes one.
difficult.
It only takes one bad apple to go in there and like make everybody feel uncomfortable. Like really quick.
Yeah. No, one of the worst things. So I like to sleep in on the weekend, right? And I have a lot of European viewers, and there were two European individuals that got into the biggest fight and just were yelling at each other. And then one guy gets all his friends to yell at that guy, and the other guy gets a couple people. And one guy was clearly in the wrong, so then he was like fighting 4 people, which that's still uncool, right? And I wake up to it. To 200 messages, and I had like people DMing me, I had people pinging me, I had people blowing up my phone, and I just look at this, and the first thing I do is put my Discord in slow mode for like, so I can just scroll through it, and then I just ask like, what the hell happened? What happened? Like, what's going on? And then the worst part is one of them was a moderator. One of them was a moderator, and then one of them was an admin. So I couldn't, moderator couldn't just swoop in and ban them. I had to take care of it. And then I was like, why is my staff acting this way? Was my first question. Like, okay, I don't expect a lot out of Twitch mods, and a lot of people do it for free. They volunteer to do it. They love to help out, and it makes them feel important. Okay,
Right.
like I'm not paying anyone, right? But I'm thinking to myself, like, why are my moderators doing that? And even I had another content creator who talked to me privately, and we were playing video games together. And I said, bro, what the hell is going on with your chat? I'm like, what do you mean? And they're way more established, right? And they're like, what the hell is going on with your chat? I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, dude, 2 of your moderators were fighting the other day. That's not acceptable. And I was like, yeah, but I like both of them. I don't know what to do about it. And they were like, you got to do something about it. So eventually I was really bad about it, but they got into enough of a heated argument. One of them just up and left, and they've never returned. I've never seen them again.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things I started like really vetting people. I really started vetting people for like admin, moderator position. Really vetting people.
Burned a bunch before by moderators or something.
Yeah.
Because even though they do it for free, I mean, it's still like a role that needs to be taken. It needs to be taken seriously in the respect that they are now a representation of you. They are an arm or a shield for you.
Right.
And if they don't have the same values or ideals, or if they don't like have the same direction or like understand you, then it's definitely not going to work out,
Right. And here's the big thing I had to learn the hard way, and I say it to not only you but everyone who watches this podcast. If you got a moderator who belittles other people, or you got a moderator who treats other people poorly, they don't deserve to be a moderator.
Get
they
that shit
don't.
out. Yeah.
Get it out of there. And if they're causing problems for you, like if they're trolling you, that's one thing. Or if but you want like the moderators you want are the people who say hi to everyone, the people who welcome everyone, the people who shout out others for you. That's the people you want as a moderator. You don't want that guy who power trips all the time, or you don't want that person who's like, I'm a moderator and I'm so. No, you're not. You literally just you work for me. That's all you are. And I had a guy that I timed out that was a moderator. He said, why'd you time me out? And I said, just because you're a moderator doesn't make you special, right? Like, I appreciate the work, and this is going to sound like an asshole thing. I don't mean it to be. I appreciate the volunteer work you do, but moderators don't get special privileges or other stuff. Now, I do. I want to do, like, private stuff with them. That's cool, right? But they don't get to break the rules. That's what I'm trying to say, special privileges.
Right. There you go. That's a better way to phrase it.
Yeah, they don't get to break the rules. They don't get, like, special permissions. They don't get to break the rules. And community is big. You got good moderators, people are going to feel welcome. You got terrifying moderators, people aren't going to want to talk. Well, that moderator is a douchebag. I don't want to get timed out. Some people take getting timed out super seriously. Like, you time them out once and they're mad. Even if it's on an accident, you apologize. They're like, nah, I'm good. I'm never coming back. That's the thing you got to worry about.
Yeah.
And then the final C.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. What's the final C?
yeah. I know we've been waiting, right? Consistency.
Well, we're almost at 2 hours now. We gotta wrap it up and end soon. This is gonna be a good one to end on. Let's do it.
Okay, consistency. That's the final one. Creativity, community, consistency. If you only stream like once every 2 weeks, or you stream at random times, how are people going to know to watch you? Go back to the restaurant illustration. If the restaurant's open at weird hours, nobody's going to go to it because they're not going to know it's open. And I think like the final one's consistency, and that's the one I struggle with the most. I've been working a lot to do better at it. I used to try to do 5 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every other day. I do apologize for droning on. I really do. I had a blast.
No, it's great. It's great. I think there's like 2 parts where it's kind of like where we were trying to figure out who was going to talk, and I'm like on the fence about editing it out. But for the most part, I think all this is going up on the YouTube.
Hey. Perfect. You have those awkward moments, and I do apologize. It's a thing I've really tried to work on, is not talking over people. I've really tried to work on that. I used to
I'm terrible at it. So like when I come into contact with somebody who also struggles with it, like you, for instance, like I usually just try to shut myself down and just not talk. And like, I don't know, man. It's good. I think it's good. Yeah. It's good practice. You've got formal speaking training. I was in a band once. Like I'm used to like getting up on stage in front of people. Public speaking doesn't bother me. But it doesn't necessarily mean I'm good at it.
Right. Absolutely. So,
trying to learn that. So I was gonna say, with that last C being said, you went over your schedule. You kind of talked about what you do a little bit. To end this podcast for tonight, do you have any final thoughts, any final take homes, anything else you want to say to our YouTube community?
Just keep at it. I mean, Yeah, I only average 7 now, but it's not the end of the world. It could be way more next year. Lots of people start with 7 average, and then now they have like 4,000.
If you
Just keep
average
at it.
7 and 6 of those people are talking constantly, you've already won.
Hey, I appreciate it.
You've won the internet.
I
You've
love my
won
community,
streaming.
and that's like I treat them like viewers, but I also treat them like friends. I love everyone that watches me. I love hanging out, and honestly, like to say to all the people who watch your podcast, first off, make sure to watch Optometron. He's awesome. But two, if you ever come to my stream, you're gonna feel welcome. I'm gonna make sure you feel welcome. We're gonna have fun together, and I'm gonna make sure that you're an integral part of it. That'd be great.
Sweet.
That's my goal.
Thank you so much for the shout out. That is that is awesome. That is awesome. No, seriously, I love that. I really do. I like giving people shout outs as much as I like receiving them. I'm a giver and a taker, you know. So I will say the same. Everybody who watches this podcast, if you're not following Kevy, please go give him a chance. He is, if not more fun on stream when he's in his natural environment and can kind of do his thing. But he did fantastic here tonight, dude. We had some really deep conversations. I love the space alien shit. That's definitely getting made into TikToks. But these podcasts so far, like the last episode ended with like some really positive like mental health notes and like kind of, you know, some helpful tips and stuff with mental health and people struggling with mental health. This one is ending with like Twitch help and like kind of what you should look out for and what you should focus on with your community and stuff, and that's fantastic. I would like to end each and every one of these podcasts with some sort of like positive message. Maybe not a PSA, we're not GI Joe, but we can definitely end
look after the environment. Remember,
your
vote matters.
Well, because I love the podcast format and like actually having a forum and a floor where we can talk about stuff that we struggle with and talk about problems and stuff like that. Because like when you're streaming on Twitch, you're there in the moment, you're having live conversations, and it's hard to talk about stuff like that because like people want to see the gameplay and they want that immediate interaction. So it's not exactly the best place to be like, hey, if you struggle with such and such, you know, you should do this, you know. Right. And more power to people who can do that. But no, it was fantastic. I absolutely loved every second of this. Thank you so much again for playing Portal with me and murdering me a bunch. That was a lot of fun. It was kind of reminiscent with like playing with like an older brother or something where he's just like, you know, razzing the shit out of you. So it was a lot of fun. I cannot wait. I can't wait until our next excursion. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody of all ages on the YouTube channel, thank you so much for checking out this episode. If you haven't seen the first episode, definitely go back and check it out. And next week we'll have the third episode out. And I should say who it's going to be. We should announce that at the end of the video so people are like, oh my god, spoiler. Give me just a second here. I gotta pull up my schedule. Who's it gonna be? If I remember correctly, it's December. It should be Kushner, but I just want to double check and make sure. Where's my streaming plans? Collab schedule. Next week, December the 19th, is going to be Kushner, another very close dear friend of mine. I love her to death. We met her through streaming, and I'm excited to go through this entire roster of friends. I have people booked out all the way through the end of April, so we have a full schedule through the end of April, and it is not even January yet. So fuck yeah, podcast is going great. People are loving it. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time on Wonder Bathos.